Okay, ooh, shit. Let me just put that as a separate thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Don't worry. I started. Just close out that mess here. Hi everyone. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? So, what the fuck is that? Oh, that reminds me, I need to post the announcement on Discord. I forgot to do that. Let's do that. Okay, copy this hoe and paste that hoe over here. Dumb. There we go. Let's do this. All right. Now we are Gucci. Let's see. Put you back here. Okay. We about to watch a movie? No, we're not gonna watch a movie. We're gonna talk about a movie. Two movies, in fact. That's what we're gonna do. But yeah, we're gonna welcome to. Oh, well, hold on. Let me start recording. I'm all over the place. Hold up. Let me grab my water. My bottle of water. My bottle of water. I gotta grab my bottle of water. Now I have my bottle of water. Okay, I'm Gucci now. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry. I did not mean to start this late. But don't worry, the stream's not gonna be very long. Um, I was watching let me start recording this. Okay, anyway. Hi everyone, I'm Team15 and welcome to my rant stream of two movies, Puss in Boots The Last Wish and the Super Mario Brothers movie. I keep calling it the new Super Mario Brothers movie for some reason, although that's not exactly wrong. But yeah, we're gonna talk about those two movies today. So, yay, because I have some opinions on them, particularly the second one, but we'll get to that one when we get to it. So, yeah, hi everyone. Maple, Scott, Lincoln Trapper, Sluggy Man, a few other people I saw, I think. Let me go look. Really wish I had charged my phone. I am so forgetful when it comes to charging my goddamn phone. Probably the two most recent popular animated movies. Yep. And I have one of them on 4K and Blu-ray and digital. I mentioned this yesterday during yesterday's stream, but I figured I would mention it again here. Of course, the second movie hasn't come out on 4K and Blu-ray yet, so but anyway. Um but I will get it for that. I will get it for 4K and Blu-ray when it comes out. I will. Because why the fuck not? And plus I already have every other Illumination movie, so why not get that one? Yes, I have every Illumination movie, even Hop. We don't talk about Hop. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about, first of all, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But first, I should probably talk about when these movies came out. I mean, one came out late last year. The other came out what last week. So it's like, so that's really it. So 2022, 2023. That's it. I don't have anything more to say for these movies. So they were released months apart. So before I start, I'm just gonna be upfront about this. The first movie here is amazing. The second movie here is just okay. It's just okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But the first one is amazing. Okay. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Hold up. Go back. Let yeah. Okay, there we go. You got a bar of water as well. Yes, stay hydrated, bitches. It's important if you're going to be talking. You bought something for your Switch? Oh, what is it, Scott? Okay, but anyway, let's boost the last wish. So let me talk about. I should probably provide synopses. Yeah, I did that there for my Rantstreams at first, but then I just got bored with it. But anyway, let me just summarize the movie really fast. So, Let's Boost the Last Wish is about it's about Puss's journey to getting what's called the last what's called I forgot what it was called. Something called the Wishing Star. He needs to reach this magical place in some place called the Dark Forest. I literally just watched this movie and I already forgot this. Um, like I rewatched it today, like right before the stream. So I don't know how I'm forgetting this shit, but Puss has to go to that area in the Dark Forest, that area where the Wishing Star is located, and he needs to use a map to get there so that he can get a wish. And he needs a wish because as a cat in the world of in the DreamWorks universe anyway, a cat has 9 lives and Puss. Well, at the start of the movie, he had burned through 8 of his lives, one of which was actually wasted at the beginning of this movie. Oops. When he fought this sleeping giant that was made of earth and shit, whatever. Um, he fought the guy and gave him a nasty, like fucking his sword of one of the guys under the guy's fingernail. I was like, damn, Puss, ooh, a sword splinter, he calls it. But anyway, yeah. So that happens, and the doctor, well, Puss dies technically, and then he wakes up somewhere in some doctor's office. I forgot what the doctor's name is, but anyway, so the doctor tells Puss that he's burned through 8 of his lives, and so now he's down to his last life. And the doctor's like, "Okay, no more adventuring for you, fam, unless you want to die. And remember, death comes for us all." And then Puss in Boots is like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm Puss in Boots, bitch." So that's what he says, and then he just goes to some bar. Some big ass, scary ass, red eye wolf comes up in this bitch and tries to kill Puss, but not before revealing that he is literally death. Actually, no, he doesn't say that until later, technically. But there is foreshadowing during that scene. The wolf represents death. That's what he is. He is the Grim Reaper, essentially. Literally, the Grim Reaper. And so he comes and challenges Puss for his last life, like literally tries to straight up kill the guy, but at the same time kind of plays with him because he could have gotten serious, but he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna give you another chance, fam. Pick the sword up. Come on, put up a fight." Puss just like, "Nah, I'm out. You drew blood, and I've never been touched by a blade. I'm out, bitch. I'm out." So he leaves. Like that's literally the first time Puss ever gets scared because the wolf literally drew blood with his sickles, and I was like, "Oh shit." Oh shit! So Puss loses that battle, and he just runs away, and then he finally takes the doctor's advice, and then goes to this place where there's this old black lady who owns a shit ton of cats, a shit ton of cats, and then he meets Perito, this dog who wants to be a therapy dog, who wants to be Puss's friend. Puss is like, no, go away. But Perito tags along anyway. I'm not gonna try to like recap the whole movie, but yeah, that's basically how the movie starts. So, um, so Puss, lives his life there, unfortunately, like where he's basically just retired. He's just a miserable and depressed until he overhears Goldilocks and the Three Bears. They show up, trash the place to find Puss in Boots. They don't find him because Puss in Boots had grown a beard, so they don't recognize him at that point in time. So they leave, and Puss in Boots overhears them talking about how there's a map to what's called the Wishing Star, I think. And Puss is like, "Oh shit, it does exist, and I can." And if I find that map, I can get all my lives back. So that's how the adventure starts. Okay, at first, like right before he went to the old lady's house, he buried all of his gear, but then, and but then he goes to and he digs it back up. Well, he technically asked Perito to do it, but whatever. And he gets his gear back, although he loses his sword. He doesn't have a sword because he left it at the bar where he fought the wolf, so he had left it there. So, oops. But yeah, he's off on an adventure to go and get this to go and get to the star. Except other people want to do it too. Goldilocks and Three Bears, of course. Jack Horner, um, who's the basically the big villain of this movie. And Kitty Southpaw makes a return. She's pissed with Puss because Puss stood her up at the altar where they were supposed to get married. Although technically she didn't show up either, so oops. Which she doesn't reveal until later. But but yeah, so like Puss reluctantly teams up with Kitty and Perito to go and get the star and shit, and just it's like three entities going after the star. Puss, Kitty, and Perito is one. Goldilocks and Three Bears is another. Jack Horner is a third, and it's just chaos. Like they go through this magical realm, and a lot of shit happens. So drama as well. Throughout the movie, Death is chasing Puss, and it's like, ooh, like damn. If you're the kind of person who can make Puss in Boots of all people scared as hell, Puss, who was known as the fearless hero, or fearless hero anyway. That's really serious. That somebody actually made Puss in Boots literally shit himself. Puss in Boots of all people. Death made him shit himself. But yeah, like at one point, everyone is pretty much in the same place as everyone's in the place where the wish can be granted, but not before Puss runs off with the map and leaves Kitty and Perito behind because he had a run with Death right before that point, and where Death basically calls him out for being so reckless with his lives, and then basically taunts him and shit. And so like Puss and the others are all in this area, this giant star-shaped area. They're all fighting for the map, but then well, except for Jack Horner, everyone realizes, you know what? I don't need the wish. I got what I want. I have what I want. But then Death shows up and challenges Puss. Puss is like, you know what? I'm not afraid anymore, bitch. I'm not afraid anymore, bitch. Come on, let's fight. And so he manages to actually take down Death, but not kill him. Because you can't defeat Death. You can't. And and I mean that in more than one way, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, Puss, actually knocks him down and says, "Pick your shit up. Pick the sword up, bitch. Come on, pick it up." But then, so the wolf gets pissed. Then he's like, "Damn it! You won this time, but we will meet again." And Puss is like, "I'll be ready, bitch." Okay, they don't say these exact words, but you get what I mean. So, but no, Jack Horner still. Okay, so at first Jack Horner was like everyone was fighting for the star at one point, but then Jack Horner somehow stumbled into the magical bag he brought that was bottomless, had a shit ton of magical items in it. He so right after the duel with Death that Puss in Boots had, Jack Horner shows up and becomes this big ass. He becomes a giant, a little giant, and so he takes the map from Puss and Kitty, and then he's about to grant it, but Burrito comes in, distracts him, and then everyone else takes the map away from him and just rips it apart. And then the whole area starts falling apart. Jack Horner gets sucked into it and basically dies. I would think, or disappears, whatever. And then that's how the movie ends. Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy with each other now and happy with they didn't get their wish, but it's like, we don't need it. So Everyone reconciles and shit. That reminds me, Goldilocks and Three Bears had a conflict of their own, where Goldilocks is like, I want a real family, but then she's like, well, wait, I already have one. So that was her conflict. To sum it up very quickly, that was her conflict. So at first, her family was upset because that she felt this way, but then they're like, "Oh, so you do think of us as a family?" And she's like, "Yep, always." And so, yeah, that's it for the movie. So, like, basically, the message is death comes to everyone, and it can be scary, but you don't have to let it control you. You need to live life to the fullest, even if you die trying. That's basically what the movie is saying, and it's a good message. It's a very mature message. It's a dark theme, but it works. It's a kids movie, but who says kids movies can't handle themes like this well? Like, it was a dark and mature theme, and the movie handled it pretty well. So there's that. I know people are saying things in the chat. I'm just like trying to get through the summary first. But yeah, that's how the movie ends. Oh yeah, but no, oh yeah, but there's a bit of sequel baiting at the end where Puss, Kitty, and Rito steal this ship from the governor. They like to steal shit from him. Well, just Puss. Well, I guess all of them. But like, cause Puss stole shit from him earlier this in the movie. But whatever. Anyway, they steal the governor's ship and they go towards far, far away. And guess who's living in far, far away? Somebody who's big and green and mean. So anyway, yeah. So that's how the movie ends. So basically, and there's also another message to the movie as well. But the main message is this: that comes to everyone, and it's scary. But at the end of the day, you have to accept it. But you don't have to let that fear control you. Live life to the fullest. Enjoy this time you have on Earth, whatever. And and like that's really it. But and another message is that when you wish for something or when you want something so badly that you think you don't have, you might be surprised to know that you actually already have it. Which is basically a different way of saying be content with what you have. And if you tie that with the message of this movie, it extends the rest. This message extends to you might not always have it. So you might not always have what you have. It did feel pretty sequel baity. It did. I'm not gonna lie, it did. Okay, let me go through the chat here because ooh, 9 people, nice. Let me go through the chat here and because I know some people are going to bring up some good points. There's really nothing negative you can say about Puss in Boots. I agree, but we'll get to that in a moment. How am I doing, Anime Kid? I'm doing fine. How are you? It's the mystical last wish. That's what it was. I thought it might have been called the last wish, but I honestly do not remember. I know it's in the title, but what the fuck ever. I thought it was just called something else. This is all out of green mushrooms. Yeah, he's out of one ups. And I need to plug in my computer because I'm a dumbass who didn't bother doing it before. Hang on one moment. Oh my fucking god, I'm a dumbass. Plug this shit in, plug it 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 in. Plug it in, plug it in. Those Glade commercials. Plug it in, plug it in. Well, anyway, we went to see Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods. I forgot about that movie, and I don't even care about it. Not because I hate Shazam or whatever. I haven't even watched the first movie. I just don't care about Shazam. I don't. The wolf was basically the first foe that Puss had faced that actually struck fear in him. Exactly. Death made Puss shit his pants. Shit, Death made Puss shit his boots. If shit his boots, like You made Puss in Boots shit his boots. Goddamn, that wolf was scary. That wolf was scary. He was menacing. He was intimidating. I was like, damn, DreamWorks, you really know how to make villains. Usually. Anyway, um, but yeah, basically that final showdown with Death. Well, it really just proved Puss in Boots' point earlier in the film. He laughs in the face of death, which is what he ends up doing again. Like he does. So that's what's pissed. This was like, oh my fucking god. I was expecting you to be a coward, arrogant coward, but you're not anymore. I feel like Puss in Boots is probably the only foe that Death has ever actually had a hard time killing, which says quite a bit about Puss in Boots' character. That's just the vibe I got from the film. I might be wrong, but that's just how I feel. Because Death himself said earlier in the film, everyone thinks they can defeat me. Well, they're wrong. He says something like that. But Puss in Boots did it. Technically, he did only temporarily because you can't defeat death, obviously, but yeah. Anyway, there are literally lyrics in the song that go, and you can throw me to the wolves. I really like how this movie takes the whole nine lives thing and actually plays it for real instead of treating it as a myth or a joke. Yeah, that was actually a pretty cool concept. Treat the whole nine lives thing as real instead of as a joke. And it works within the DreamWorks universe setting. It works. You ordered a Switch memory card on Amazon. Oh, I see. There's a snake in Puss in Boots says, oh wait, it's just shit. Yep. This movie basically feels like a character study on Puss and his internal conflict being whether or not he can be the same Puss in Boots he built um in his infamous legacy without any more lives left. Basically, he thought he was the shit because he had quite a number of lives that he literally just wasted. Like there's a montage in the movie earlier where he wasted all of his lives. Almost every single one. Whether it was falling off a building. And right after he said, cats always lay on their feet. Are you sure, Puss? Are you sure? Because you literally died there. But whatever. And one where he got beaten up by a bunch of dogs. And one where he tried to shoot himself out of a cannon and it backfired horribly. And about that, there's actually a little short video, short film in this movie that actually explains how that happened. It's called The Trident. It's just a little short, which I'll talk about later. But I saw that for the first time today, but we'll talk about it in a moment. But yeah, basically he died. Oh yeah, and he also got hit by a bull. And other things. I can't remember all of his deaths, but that's like four. Oh, he got crushed by a bell at the start of the movie. Oh, and he also died of anaphylactic shock because he ate shellfish, which he was allergic to. Like he was literally getting an allergic reaction from it. And he was like, "Oh wait, is there shellfish in this?" And the waitress was like, "Yes." And he was like, I'm gonna eat it anyway." I'm like, "You are dumb." I think and I'm sure there are like one or two I missed, but I can't remember all of them. But whatever. Basically, he wasted all of his lives. Almost all of them. So, yeah, don't be like Puss in Boots and take life for granted. Because that was his mistake. And Death even calls him out on it. He said, I watched you die. I watched you burn through every single one of your lives, and you didn't value a single one. And I was like, damn, that had to burn. But yeah, that's, but yeah. That's what happens. So I guess we'll talk about the positives now. I think I covered like basically everything in the movie. Don't throw your lives away. Exactly. That's what Puss did. And now he's down to his last one. But yeah, as Maple said, basically this movie teaches you a great lesson on why you should never take life for granted and always cherish every moment you can. Because at the end of the day, you're not promised tomorrow or even the next hour. You really never know when your time's going to be up. Unless you can see into the future, which I would never want to do. Holy shit, I would never want a gift like that. I would never want a power like that. Like imagine knowing that disaster's gonna strike and imagine not being able to do anything about it. Or if you try to do anything about it, you might cause it to happen anyway. Because sometimes, you know, it becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. I feel for Raven and That's So Raven. I don't know how she can live with such a gift like that. It's a blessing, but it's a curse. I'm like, girl, I feel you. I feel you. But anyway, but yeah, basically, don't throw your lives away. Live life to the fullest because you never know when your time's going to be up. Anything can happen. As LD Golding said, anything could happen. She wasn't wrong. I think Beth even said that the nine lives thing with cats only irritates him a small bit. Yeah, I think he said something along the lines of that. I think he said something like that. Um, where he said, "I don't get the whole nine lives thing." Think he said it was silly or whatever. I can't remember, but he basically did not seem to like the system. But what made him even angrier was that Puss, as I said earlier, and as Scott said here, just burned through all of his lives, and rather quickly too, and carelessly. And Death was annoyed by that. He was annoyed by it, and I don't blame him because you had nine lives, fam. Most people don't have that, and you went and wasted almost every single one. God damn. But that reminds me, what about Kitty? How many lives does she have? Because she's a cat too, of course. So, has she lost any of her lives? Probably not, because she's a lot more careful than Puss is. I'm sorry, but she's just a more competent thief. And she herself knows it. The movie knows it. I know it. You know it. Everyone knows it. Not that Puss is dumb, but let's face it, Kitty's a bit out of his league. Or rather, quite out of his league. Oops. Anyway, but yeah, I wonder how many lives she has. Maybe she still has all of hers. I don't know. Anyway, um, but yeah, I guess we can talk about the positives, right? Like I was just thinking about that right now. I'm like, wait, how many lives does Kitty have? Has she lost any? Because that doesn't seem to have a problem with her, so I'm assuming she hasn't lost all of hers either. Almost all of hers, but whatever. You know, and the funny thing is that at first I thought Death was literally just some shadowy figure that only Puss could see, but no, he ended up actually being real in the movie. And I was like, oh shit, shit's about to hit the fan. Okay. Maybe a quick Google search will answer that. Maybe. And don't make enemies with like an 11-foot wolf who every team in the NBA needs. Yeah, that wolf was gigantic. God damn. He made Puss look like an ant. And Puss was still kicked his ass. No, at first though, the wolf was owning Puss at the beginning. The wolf was like sloppy. You are sloppy. And then Puss went and just slapped him at the end. Yeah, it's never really been answered. Yeah, I assume that she at least has two, because otherwise death would be coming. I would assume death would be coming for her too if she had only one life left as well. So she has to at least have two. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, that was the movie. I'm sorry, there's just so much to talk about with this movie. I just love every bit of it. It's just so good. I just love it. I love every bit of it. So let's get to the positives. Okay, the story. Great. I think I pretty much just talked about the story. but it was great. It was the story was really great. I loved it. It was mature. It handled a dark theme pretty maturely, and it was still a kids movie at the end of the day. Like it was great. It had a great moral, a few great morals actually. There was more than one, but yeah, and plus it was pretty funny too. Like the humor was really funny. I loved the humor. It was great. Like several moments in the movie that made me laugh. Like it's like the movie was just really funny. It was a lot funnier than the first Puss in Boots movie, which I didn't mind. I'll get that one like a 7 out of 10, 7.5 maybe. It was just okay. It was okay. It was okay. But the Last Wish blows it out of the water. I'm sorry, but the first Puss in Boots movie can't compare to this movie. It can't. I'm sorry, it just can't. It can't. This movie is just so much better. It's just so good. But the humor was really funny. Especially okay, let me see if I can look this up because this is just so damn funny. Um, hmm. Let me look this up. Hold up. Okay. Let's see here. Perito swearing. Yeah. Okay. I love this part. Hold up. Let me see if I can. Oh, I should probably use headphones actually because if I don't, then the sound's probably gonna echo. Where are my headphones? Hold on. There they are. Okay. Let me just put that in there. Mm. Naruto swearing. I know that was funny. It was hella funny. It was hella funny. Let's listen to it. Let us listen to it. Let me just mute my mic.
You do have 'em. Oi! You shut up, you little mutt, or I'll cut you from pooper to snooter!
I'm in the mix now. Okay, here we go. You're all a bunch of knuckle dragging, honey scrounging, grub, oafish, munching, mangy, nugget, and your snooter.
I like the cut of his jib. You do have 'em. Oi! You shut up, you little mutt, or I'll cut you from pooper to snooter!
I'm in the mix now. Okay, here we go. You're all a bunch of knuckle dragging, honey scrounging, grub, oafish, munching, mangy, nugget, and your snooter.
I like the cut of his jib.
Oh my fucking god. This movie is I can't with this movie. Oh my fucking god. That literally just put Rantstream to Ice Age movies. Oops, I used one of my Rantstreams as a template. My bad. Let me just fix that. Stop saying that. There we go. Oh, whoops. Listen boots the last swish. That's what this should be. But yeah, that scene. Oh, that scene. I can't with that scene. It's so stupidly funny. I love it. Like it's just so. It's Burrito. Burrito's a character. I'll talk about the characters in a moment, but Burrito. Oh my god, he's just like he's best dog in this movie. He's the only dog, but you get what I mean. He's best dog. He's just so stupidly funny in this movie. He like how can somebody with such a tragic backstory and so just has such a likable, such a cheerful, friendly, funny personality. I love it. I just love it. He's just so good. He's a great character. But but yeah, the humor. See, as I said, the humor is great. And there's another one, another scene I want to show you guys. Hang on. Yeah, the parents. I bet the parents were pretty caught off guard by the swearing because Puss in Boots actually does say hell at one point to Perito. He's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like, so there is a bit of swearing in this movie, and the word crap is said a few times as well. But again, it's not a big deal. Who the fuck cares? If you thought this if you think this was over the top, don't watch the first Shrek movie because there was even more swearing in that one. Although just not by a lot, not by a whole lot, but noticeably more swearing in the first Shrek movie. And but again, this isn't the first time DreamWorks has done something like this. Well, just watch the Ants movie. There was even more swearing in that one. But anyway, yeah, Paritzo, that's what he was. Comic relief done right. Okay, let's see. What was I gonna trying to remember? Oh yeah. See if I can find that scene. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can find. Okay. And I was talking about this like a bit during the last stream, but hang on. Oh, they were swearing at Rango? I don't even think I've watched that one. But huh, interesting.
Stop throwing my men at me!
There's good in all people. There's good in all people.
All right, bring it over.
Sweet mother of goose, Jack!
It's bear season. Ah! Boots, I need a solid surface. No, I never had much as a kid. Just loving parents, and stability in a mansion, and a thriving baked goods enterprise for me to inherit. Useless crap like that. But one thing that will make me happy.
Oh, well, what's that?
All of the magic in the world. For me, and no one else gets any. Is that so much?
Yes!
Agree to disagree. All right, bring it over.
Help!
Sweet mother of goose, Jack!
Well, you know what they say. Can't bake a pie without losing a dozen men.
Oh, that was horrible! Your wish is horrible! You're an irredeemable monster!
Oh, what took you so long, idiot?
Don't worry, that's the last clip I'm gonna play. That's the last clip I'm gonna play. But but yeah, basically that's how funny the movie is. It's so self-aware and I love it. Like it's like the cricket's like, dude, you're a horrible, irredeemable monster. And then Jack's like, no shit. Hi, bitch. I was like, finally, it's nice to have a villain who's unapologetically evil for once, because a lot of villains nowadays are just sympathetic. Well, not necessarily sympathetic, but they're villains that are misunderstood or they're misguided or had tragic backstories or shit like that. And then there are some that are just straight up evil. We don't really see much of the second kind nowadays, so it's refreshing to see somebody like this guy who actually had a pretty good background. Like he had a pretty good childhood, a pretty good life, but he didn't care. He did not care. He just wanted all the power in the world, and he's just so unapologetic about it. I just love it. It's nice to have a villain like that for once. Someone who's an asshole, who knows he's an asshole, and who doesn't care that he's an asshole. Not somebody with some tragic backstory or shit like that, which is not necessarily bad, but that's overdone nowadays. So it's nice to have something like that for a change. So it's like, you know what? Let's just make the villain an asshole. Just an asshole. Let's just make him an asshole. But anyway, but yeah, but yeah, the humor is just really funny. And when Perito's telling his, there's another moment where Perito literally tells Puss and Kitty about his backstory, which he calls a funny story, but it's not really. Well, it's funny, but at the same time, it's pretty sad. Where his family basically treated him like shit. They kept trying to get rid of him by making him play hide and seek. And at one point, they literally put him in a sock with the rock and then threw him into the river. And he managed to survive. And he's just laughing about it. And I'm just like, how is this dog so damn positive, despite the fact that his family literally tried to throw him away and kill him? Because that's just Perito. He's just that kind of guy. He just has a very pleasant, cheerful personality. He even wants to be a therapy dog at one point. And I'm just like, this character is how is this character both comic relief and an awesome character? And like he's not just comic relief done right. He's also just a really awesome character. I just love it. Yeah, in that video, in the video I just showed you, Jack Horner says crap, but it was censored. But anyway, I mean, I could like just play right from the movie, but that would take too long, and I don't want to. And then that would make it even easier for me to get a copyright strike. So I'm not going to do that. Anyway, but yeah, humor is really funny. So let's talk about the characters. I think those might be my favorite kind of villains, to be honest. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like with me, I mean, personally, I don't really have a preference. Like, if the villain's an asshole, that's fine. If he's some sort of tragic villain, that's fine too. It's just that, you know, sometimes tropes are just overused nowadays, certain tropes. So it's nice to have a trope be subverted for once. Or not, or averted. I should say averted in this case. It's technically not subverted, but whatever. Um, but yeah. Let me see. Okay, so let me talk about the characters. Great characters, obviously. Every single character in this film was great. Every single one. There was not a single bad character in this film. Puss was great. Kitty was great. Perito was great. I already mentioned why. Goldilocks and Three Bears were great. They weren't super important, but they were great nonetheless. They were important, but they were just weren't the most important characters. But they did have a bit of their own side story as well, which was pretty nice. It didn't get too much focus, but it got enough focus for me. Um, Jack Horner was great. Again, an unapologetically horrible villain. Nice. So yeah, that's really it. And even the cricket character was pretty cool. I liked him. I liked him. He was funny. And even at towards the end of the movie, he's like, "Okay, you know what, Jack Horner, fuck you. Oh, you want the map? You want this piece of the map? Oh well, too bad." And then he gets a phoenix to burn the piece of the map, and I was like, "Oof, big F, Jack, big L, big oof, oof." You can almost see every single character in this movie carrying their own movie, right? Every single character in this movie was good. I liked every single one. Puss was his funny, charming, uh, adventurous, arrogant self. Kitty was her sassy, bossy, playful self. Um, let's see who else. Goldilocks was pretty funny. She was the boss of the. She was basically the boss of the family, and she took no shit from anyone. Despite being a human and the others being bears, she took no shit from any of them. Although it was really only Baby she would fight with, the youngest bear. Like they had a brother sister relationship, which is pretty funny. They fought, they laughed, they got along. I liked their dynamic. I liked all the dynamic of the whole bear family. Like they all have personalities that complement one another, and I just love it. Baby's probably my favorite out of all of them because he's just so funny. He's basically the comic relief of the family. Yeah. The dumbest, but at the same time the funniest. Goldilocks would probably be my second favorite. The mother would probably be my least favorite, but I liked her too. I like all of them. It's just that baby's my favorite, and the mother's my least favorite. That was pretty cool as well. And Jack Horner himself, I already said how great a villain he is. He's a great villain. He is. He's a guy who already has everything, but that's not enough for him. He doesn't want just wealth. He wants power as well. And you know he's basically a sociopath. He's literally a sociopath, and he owns it. And it's refreshing to see a villain who's actually like that, where it's like, yeah, I'm evil, no shit. What's your point? So he just straight up says that to the cricket. It's just so funny. The storyline with Goldilocks and the Three Bears was really engaging. Yeah, it was. We even got to see a bit of Goldie's past. You know, finding the three bears. You know, the story of Goldilocks and Three Bears. The movie basically showed a quick version of that. And there are various versions of the story. Somewhere Goldilocks runs away. Somewhere the bears. I think there are somewhere the bears let her live with her. I'm not sure if there are anywhere she gets killed by the bears. I don't remember. But there are multiple versions of that story. That's all I know. But yeah, in this movie, she ends up living with the bears, and yeah, it was a pretty good subplot. I liked it. Like I liked all the plots in the movie. The Jack Horner plot, the Jack Horner subplot, especially with the cricket, the and the baker's dozen, who were funny villains. Like they were funny. Like they were basically cooks, but they were crazed and ready to kill. Like they were like ready to kill. Um, Plus his plot, of course, was great with Kitty and Perito. In my opinion, that was the best one, which makes sense because, of course, it was going to have the most It had the most focus, so of course, it was going to be the best one. Well, that's not always the case in movies. Sometimes a plot can have a lot of focus and yet be other shit, but that's not the case in with this movie. So yeah, right. Jack Horner's basically like, "Of course I'm evil, you idiot. What did you think?" Right? It's like it's just so funny the way he says it to the cricket. It's like, and you're just realizing this now? It was DreamWorks was basically saying it was basically. I feel like this was DreamWorks' way of giving the middle finger to all the stories out there with all these villains, or not really giving the middle finger, but basically making fun of the trope that every villain needs to have a tragic backstory. It felt like that, and I love it. I loved it. Yeah, DreamWorks really put everything into this movie, like they did with the bad guys. Like this movie, in my opinion, is on par with the bad guys. They're both great movies. So DreamWorks really stepped up their game in these last few years. They had some missteps, Boss Baby, but like they certainly picked themselves up with the bad guys and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Yeah, Kitty Paws really is the perfect companion to Puss. I haven't seen Inside Out. I really ought to go and see it. And I have Disney Plus, so I can just see it. From what I've heard, it's really good. Therapists actually like the movie. Like at one point, I had a therapist who actually told me that about a bit about the movie that he actually liked it, but I forgot about it after that point. So I was like, oh, okay. So I need to go and watch that. I think I'll watch it sometime soon. And there are other Disney movies I want to watch and revisit maybe. But anyway, yeah, I'd say this was even better than the Bad Guys. I'd say the last Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was even better than Bad Guys, and Bad Guys was good. It was good. It was great, and I think this movie's even better. But yeah, the characters were all great. Every single one of them was great. Not a single character in the movie was bad. My least favorite would probably have to be the mother bear, but she was a good character, so it's so for me. It's just really that's just really I really just prefer. I guess my favorite character would probably be Perito out of everyone, and my least favorite would be Mother Bear. But again, they're all good characters. DreamWorks definitely tends to deliver stellar part twos when it counts the most. Pretty much, pretty much. I mean, you have How to Train Your Dragon 2, Kung Fu Panda 2, um, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So yeah, not all their sequels are great though. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. So yeah, great characters. Anything else? I don't really have anything else to say. Oh, Death. How can I forget about Death? Death was also another villain in the movie. So there were technically two villains. A main villain and a side villain. I would say Death was a side villain, but that does not mean that he wasn't a great character because he was. He was he was intimidating, he was scary, he was sassy, he was big, and wolves tend to play scary roles in movies and shit, so his being a wolf technically added to his scare factor. So Death was an awesome character. And how he literally not only does he humiliate the protagonist, but also calls him out on his dumb fuckery, on his dumbassery, his idiocy. And yeah, Death was just Shrek 2. I forgot. Yeah, Shrek 2 was another great sequel. How could I forget about Shrek 2? Thank you for bringing that up. I knew there were more. But yeah, Death was a great character. And I loved his fight with Puss in Boots at the beginning and at the end. He was a great character. And I like how his weapons actually have Puss in Boots's like lives on them, the ones he burned through, like 8 marks. Like basically eight little pictures of a like 8 little drawings of a cat with a slash through the face. Just that was a nice touch. Something I actually didn't notice until someone pointed out in the comment section of a YouTube video. I was like, I didn't even notice he had those on his sickles. That was actually a pretty cool touch. It was basically a reminder to Puss that your time is coming, bitch. It added to its intimidation factor, and he even showed Puss at one point. Like he even showed those to Puss at one point to further prove his point that you literally wasted your lives, man. But anyway, but I literally forgot about those the first time I watched the movie. But those were a nice touch to his weapons. Anyway, now let's talk about the animation. The animation is great. I mean, like, of course, it was going to be great. But like, I love how like what DreamWorks did with the bad guys. They took what Into the Spider Verse did and put their own spin on things. The animation was just great, even better than I'd say the first Puss in Boots movie, which had great animation, but this one was even better. Like this one was just amazing, amazing, amazing animation, stellar animation. Let me put stellar animation. Like there are times where they actually made the animation kind of slow mo, like it was as if you were watching a really fast slideshow or whatever. Like, and helped that actually helped add to the scene because it was an action scene. Like there are times where they actually played with that, and I actually liked that. Like they really experimented with the animation style here, and they really did a good job with it. They knew when to make things fast and when to make things slow, and when to make things fluid and when to make things choppy. They played with it like the bad guys did. I already mentioned Kung Fu Panda, but thank you for bringing it up anyway. Um, but yeah, the animation was great. It's clear that DreamWorks really learned from Into the Spider Verse and went and did their own thing. Into the Spider Verse really did set a precedent for animation. I think set a new standard, and people are like, "That's great. Let's do that." And it's funny because Sony Pictures Entertainment or whatever they're called started off with the crap that was the open season series. And then they go, like, many years later, they go and make Into the Spider Verse. And people actually want to emulate that kind of animation and storytelling. And I was like, Sony, you guys really improved over the years. You really stepped your game up. Now you were towards the bottom, but now you start from the bottom and now you're here. You started from here and now you're here. So they really moved up. Yeah, they really did change the style from the Shrek movies. The first Puss in Boots basically had the style from the Shrek movies, but it was a little better looking. Whereas here they were like, no, let's just get rid of that and do something else, and it worked. I love how you left out the Emoji Movie there. I forgot about the Emoji Movie. I forgot that was made by Sony. I forgot about that, and I'd rather forget about it because that movie just sucks in so many ways. I've already done a Rantstream on it. I think it's just a very shitty movie. I'm sorry. Like the moral behind it was nice. Be yourself regardless of what everyone says about you. But the execution was so crap. It was so bad. The whole movie was just so bad. Especially and it didn't help that James Corden was in it. Didn't help that James Corden was in it. And James Corden was obnoxious in that movie. I mean, he was just fine in the Trolls movies, but in the Emoji movie and the Cinderella movie, you just wanted to slap him. You wanted to slap the shit out of him. But anyway, but we already know how annoying James Corden is. Um, but yeah, as Maple said, in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, they got rid of the old animation style that was in the first Puss in Boots movie, and then they went and changed it up to something that's like Into the Spider Verse. That was like Into the Spider Verse, and to give it a more fairy tale feel to it, and it works. In fact, if they had used the original animation style from the first Puss in Boots movie, I don't think it would have worked as well here. Like, I just don't see that working here. I just don't see that working here. So I'm glad they changed it because it really did fit it really did fit the movie. I love how the animation is used here to not just have the movie look good, but also use the visuals to tell its story, have characters be more expressive and awesome action. Exactly. That's the thing. Animation isn't really just about looking good, as you all know. It's also about storytelling. And so it's important to pick the right style to tell the kind of story you want to tell. Some styles are better suited for certain stories than others are. So, of course, DreamWorks was like, yeah, the old style's not going to cut it for this movie. Let's change it and do something else. And it worked. So, yeah, great animation. What else? Oh, yeah, the voice acting. Great. Obviously, there wasn't a single bad voice actor or actress here. Selma Hayek was great. Antonio Banderas was great. I don't know the names of the other characters. The names of the other actors who did these characters. I literally forgot. But everyone was great. Everyone was just great. I can't name a single bad performance in this film. I can't. So the characters are great and their actors are great. Like I have nothing more to say about that. In particular, I liked Death's performance because the voice actor who um who did the wolf's lines. I think I probably liked his performance the most because he knew how to make the wolf scary, and at the same time, he knew how to make the wolf scary, intimidating, sinister, playful, sassy, and he even had a and he even like gave the wolf a little bit of a Hispanic accent too, which I liked. Although it's not as present at the beginning of the film, it's more present towards the end of it. But yeah, great perform. But yeah, like really good performances all around. Actually, I would say I would say I really like Perito's performance as well because he like whoever did him just did the character so well. Like the kind of character who's funny despite having almost nothing, still be so cheerful and funny and optimistic. Like I just love everyone's performances here, but Deaths and Peritos are probably the ones I like the most. Puss in Boots would be like a close second for me. And I'm not going by like which performances are better than the others. I'm just ranking them on based on how like what performances I like the most. So Wagner Moore, that was his name, yes. John Mulaney, right? He was the guy who did Jack Horner. His performance was pretty good. I like Jack Horner's voice actor. Pretty good performance. Like he was sarcastic and funny and mean, and I loved him. I loved him. Really, everyone's performance was good. I also liked Baby Bear's voice actor as well. I liked his performance. I liked his. Like he knew how to make the character. He knew how to make the character funny. Really, everyone was good. Every single character had a good voice actor. They really did pick a good. They really did pick um good voice actors for this movie. I can't name a single bad one because everyone did their jobs really well. Goldie's actress was great. Mama Bear's actress was great. Papa Bear's actress was great. Everyone was great. Everyone. Even the side characters in the movie were great. Like those two annoying women at the well, really one of them was annoying, but whatever. I forgot what they were called. So the something sisters, I can't remember. They were also pretty good, despite having not very many lines. Samson Kayo? I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, that was his name. There was a swear word in Shrek Forever after the final chapter. Oh, there was? Okay. Oh, it's okay, Thomas. At least you're here. Yeah, it sucks when your laptop dies. Okay. But yeah, great voice acting. I don't know why I didn't type that. Okay, anything else? Okay, so we talked about the music. The music was great. I loved the theme of the movie. You know, Puss in Boots' song. I forgot what it was called. I literally forgot what it was called. But it's the one he sings at the beginning of the movie. I actually liked it quite a bit. And there are a few other songs in the movie that were nice. A few of them were in Spanish, but I don't give a fuck because I can understand some Spanish, so it wasn't too much of a problem for me. Like another song in the movie was called "Por qué te vas," which means "Why are you leaving?" That one was good, as well as the "Fearless Hero" song at the beginning of the movie. The Puss in Boots' theme basically in this movie. That one was good. I literally forgot how the song went, sort of. Damn, and I literally just listened to it not too long ago during the credits. That's embarrassing. Why is it that I forget certain shit easily, but remember other shit pretty easily? I don't know. My memories can be so damn selective sometimes. Then again, that could be said for everyone, I guess. Anyway, but yeah, great music, really. Not a lot of songs though. There weren't very many songs in this film, but that's okay because really, this film didn't need not a lot of songs. Yeah, I don't remember Shrek 4 having a swear word either. It probably did, but I honestly do not remember. And I've watched it within like what, the last several months? So I honestly do not remember. I was planning to rewatch at one point before my rant stream on the Shrek movies, but I didn't have time. I might have caught it then, but whatever. Anyway, then I don't think there anything. Oh, so yeah, great music. As well as great sounds, engineering, whatever. It's like whatever. Basically, the movie just sounds great. It just sounds great in general. Let's just leave it at that. Like that, like this one sequence where Puss was running away from death while fighting a bunch of other people with Kitty and Perito. The music during that scene was pretty tense and scary. Like Puss ran away to the woods, Perito ran after him and calmed him down like an actual therapy dog. And I was like, "Oh, Perito, you are a therapy dog. You could really be a good therapy dog, man. You actually calmed down Puss in Boots." Which is it was just such a sweet moment. It was just so touching to see Perito calm down Puss after running away from death again. But yeah, regarding death, there's one more thing I want to talk about with him. I just love how the movie again is just very self-aware. Like there's this line from Death where like later in the movie, like right when Puss, he's in the cave of lost souls and he has a brief interaction with his past lives. And Death comes into the area and then that's when Puss realizes that the wolf is actually Death and not a bounty hunter as he originally thought. And Death is like, and yes, you're right, Puss, I am Death. And I don't mean metaphorically or theoretically or rhetorically or figuratively. No, I am straight Death. I just love that line. It's like I it's like he makes it sound so funny and so scary at the same time. And it's just I love that line so much. Because this movie knows how to be funny and serious at the same time. And that takes some writing talent. Whoever wrote this movie did a good job. Claps. Applause. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt, Maple. At first, I found Purito a little annoying at the beginning, but then he grew on me really fast. And I'm sure the people writing the movie were probably aware of that too. They were like, and then people are going to hate on this character, but they'll love him. Trust me, they'll love him. And we did love him. Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm sure a lot of people loved Purito. So yeah, he grew on me pretty quickly. At first, I found him a bit annoying, but then I was like, okay, no, this character can carry the whole movie, like every other character. But still, he carries this movie. The whole going to far, far away thing did kind of feel tacked on, because honestly, I don't even see how the movie setting here ties into the Shrek universe. To me, the two just don't seem to mesh very well. I don't know why, but it just Like maybe it's just me, but I just don't. I just felt like that final scene at the end where Puss, Kitty, and Perito go towards Far Far Away. I don't honestly. I just the movie could have just done without that. They could have just sailed away into the sunset. Although I guess that would have been a bit too generic, but maybe I feel like they could have done something else. I don't know. Negatives? Well, I guess there's that one scene at the end. Although I guess that's pretty subjective because some people didn't mind it. I'm not gonna list it as a negative, but I I'm not gonna say I disliked it, but it did feel a bit tacked on, if I'm gonna be honest. So, yeah, I'm a bit neutral on it. Anyway, but other than that, I can't really think of any negatives with this movie. Not that I'm not saying that there aren't any. I just can't really think of examples. You know, like with Tangled, the Disney movie, it's like that, where I couldn't think of any examples in my rant stream there of any negatives. It's the same thing here. Like, and as well as Kung Fu Panda 2, that's another movie where I couldn't think of any negatives. But yeah, but yeah, like really, I can't think of any. I can't. Yeah, and plus, let's say like even if Puss, Kitty, and Perito are really going to Far Far Away, what are they gonna do there? What exactly are they gonna do there? Because Shrek is pretty much done at this point, I think. Like, and like, like in the sense that there's really nothing else left to do in the series. I'm pretty sure the series is finished, so why bother having them go to Far Far Away? I don't know. Yeah, a sequel 11 years in the making that not a lot of people demanded, that not a lot of people wanted, or were demanding for, I should say. It turned out to be amazing. Like, literally, nobody asked for a Puss in Boots 2, but we got it, and it was great. A Shrek spin-off turned into a solid movie series. Exactly, Sluggy Man. Which, which I wasn't really expecting because the first movie it was decent. It wasn't great, but it was decent. I don't know. I just found it pretty lacking in terms of an engaging plot. Like, there was a plot, but it was like it was just kind of I don't know why it just didn't feel very engaging to me. Whereas this one I couldn't stop watching from start to finish. Like just this was great. They did recently announce that Shrek 5 is in the works. Oh yeah, that's right. I thought that that was the case, but I didn't want to say it without being too sure. So yeah, there's apparently going to be a Shrek 5, which we don't need. But if they can make it work, fine. I mean, if they made Toy Story 4 work, I'm sure they can make this work too. It might even be a spin-off with Donkey as well. Okay, I hope not. I really hope not. I really hope not. I don't want this to be Planet Sheen all over again. God, I don't want another one of those. Please. Let's not make this another Patrick show. Please. Please, please. Oh, please, DreamWorks, don't do this. Please. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll make it work, but like, let's not make any more spin-offs unnecessary. Puss in Boots can have a spin-off series, but Donkey, I don't think he needs one because he's comic relief. What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with a character like that who's comic relief? What are you gonna do with that? It's not. It better not be Cars 2 all over again. Everyone's excited for a Shrek 5, but not for Toy Story 5. But yeah, I can't think of any negatives. I can't think of any. I can't think of any negatives, bitches. Yeah, I'm gonna be childish. So, does anyone have any last things any last words they want to say on this movie? They have for this movie? Any last words? Any last things they want to say? Because I can't think of anything. But overall, great movie. I loved it. Almost everything about it was great. I just loved it. And oh yeah, I almost forgot. Like there's this if you could probably watch this on YouTube because DreamWorks literally uploads their movie shorts on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they do. There's this short in the movie called The Trident where it explains how Puss died, how Puss went through one of his deaths. Um so uh he Puss snuck on board a pirate ship that on like and the pirates, they had stolen a trident that would literally summon water, and Puss wanted that to get that trident so that he could help this city that was suffering from a drought. But then he runs into trouble because um, Goldilocks and Three Bears show up and try to take the trident, but then Kitty Sawpaw shows up and tries to take the trident, and then all the pirates wake up because they were all sleeping at the time. They all try to take the trident, and then Kitty Sawpaw ends up getting it at the end. But she goes back and helps Puss, who got himself trapped on that ship, and she saves him. But Puss is like, because he was about to be fired out of a cannon uh, by the pirates, but then Kitty Southpaw saved him. But then Puss didn't want to admit that Kitty saved him, so he was like, I'm going to show you that I didn't need your help. I'm going to prove that I could have survived that cannon blast. Like, I'm going to show you that I can be fired out of a cannon. And he tried to fire himself out of a cannon, and he killed himself. Oh, and he was telling the story to Perito and Kitty around the campfire. Um, and of course, Kitty was there too. Kitty was like technically a part of the story, so she already knew about it. Um, and Perito found the story funny, and he was like, "You crazy cats." He said it in Spanish, but whatever. But yeah, that's how the short film goes. It was a nice short film. It was funny. Because Perito literally kept interrupting Puss throughout the story, saying, "Oh, is this when you died? Is this when you died? Is this when you died?" And Puss is like, "Dude, shut up. Let me tell the story." Kind of reminds me of this one scene in the Looney Tunes show where uh, Lola breaks her ankle or whatever, and she's at the doctor's office, and she's telling Bugs uh, how she came to break her ankle, and she kept like telling this crazy tale, and then Bugs is like, "Oh, so that's when you broke your ankle." Lola's like, "No." So that's when you broke your ankle? No. So that's when you broke your ankle? Dude, let me tell the story. It's basically that here. Like the joke of where somebody clearly interrupts your story and you're just like, dude, shut up, let me tell the story. So it's a pretty good joke. But anyway, yeah, but yeah, it was a nice short film. I also watched a few deleted scenes, and I can see why they were deleted. They were nice to look at, but it's like, yeah, I can see why they were deleted. And I think that's it. That's all I have to say for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Great movie all around. Yeah, everything was great about it. I loved everything about the movie. I can't really think of any negatives. I just can't. It's just that good. Even better than Bad Guys, which was already pretty good. DreamWorks knows how Nickelodeon and Paramount failed Camp Coral. Camp Coral didn't need to be a thing. Even Steven Hillenburg didn't want it to be a thing or anything like it to be a thing. But they're like, oh, he's gone now, so we can do what we want. Yeah, you really should have listened to that man, fam. You really should have listened. Even one of the SpongeBob movies was basically an advertisement for Camp Coral. Sponge on the Run, which was a shitty movie, but we already know this. Anyway, uh, 4 out of 4 stars for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Nice. I'll give it I'll talk about the rating later. This is on the very last slide of this presentation. Oh yeah, right. There was a new DreamWorks intro for this movie. So yeah, like where you get to see glimpses of multiple DreamWorks characters from the Shrek universe, the Boss Baby universe, the How to Train Your Dragon universe, so on and so forth. People said the intro was too long and excessive. I didn't think it was. I didn't mind it. honestly. It was a little longer than it is a bit. It is admittedly a little longer than the DreamWorks logos, the DreamWorks intro from before. But who cares? I didn't mind it. Although I agreed that really the Boss Baby intros didn't need to be there. Like I was even thinking that I was like, out of all the DreamWorks entities they could have used, they chose those. Like the other ones they chose, but the Boss Baby and Trolls, no. Use Megamind and Madagascar next time. Like, please. You're using the four. Yeah, I noticed that you've been using the 4-star rating, Maple. Man, Maple, stop flexing. We already know you saw the movie in a month before everyone else did. Stop flexing. No, I'm kidding. You can flex. I flex all the time. Not in real life though, because I have no muscles. Anyway, great movie. Let's move on to how long? Wait, how long have I been streaming? Oh, 1.5 hours. Okay. I imagine it's because they might be doing sequels to those movies in the future. I hope not. How to Train Your Dragon doesn't need a sequel. Um, Trolls 3 is coming out this year, though. Oh, we don't need the. Okay, Trolls. I need to talk about that at one point because I do have both Trolls movies. I do. I really do need to talk about that. I have both Trolls movies as well as two other DreamWorks movies that I want to do, like the Captain Underpants movie and Mr. Peabody and Sherman. I need to watch those as well. I haven't seen Mr. Peabody and Sherman, but I have seen Captain Underpants, as well as the other two Trolls movies. But I'm gonna like rewatch them, as well as watch the Mr. Peabody and Sherman movie, and then do a rant stream on those four. I want to at one point do all the DreamWorks movies because so far I've done quite a number of them. I'm done like over half of them, but I have not done all of them. So I'm gonna try to um do all of them. Now that's gonna be a lot of DVDs though, because I plan to collect every single DreamWorks movie. I'm over halfway there, but I think like I'm at least halfway there. I think I'm a little over halfway there, but anyway, yeah. I'm looking at them right now on my shelf. But anyway, yeah. Puss in Boots, great movie. Yeah, they're gonna have to recast for Boss Baby 3. Same cheese, Zero Muscle Gang Rise Up, right? Right? Exactly. Although a few people have said that I do have a bit of muscle, and I'm like, I don't see it. Like, I just don't see it. I mean, I guess, like, I just kind of don't see it, really. I have slight muscles. Like, I don't really see it, though. Like, I used to see my brother. He is a lot more muscular than I am, even though he's only, like, half an inch or an inch taller than me. And he's my younger brother, too, so that's embarrassing. He's like, you're younger than me, and he's already taller than me. I hate that. When your younger sibling is taller than you. Hashtag older sibling problems. But anyway, like literally people have thought that I'm the younger sibling. I'm not joking. It also doesn't help that I sound younger and look younger than him as well. I don't look younger than him by a whole lot, but I do, and I sound younger than him. He sounds older than I do. So, anyway, but yeah, Prison Boost the Last Wish, great movie. Good job, DreamWorks. You really knocked that one out of the park. Well, let's talk about whatever this movie is. I'm not going to bother summarizing the plot. I guess I could do it really fast. Basically, Mario and Luigi. See, this one I'm not really looking forward to talking about. You can tell, but I'll try to be. I'll try to like. I'll try to be as lively as possible. So Mario and Luigi. This movie is basically about their trip to the Mushroom Kingdom, and during their trip they stop Bowser. That's the very short version of it. The longer version is that Mario and Luigi, at first, they quit this plumbing company that was pretty much successful. At least it seemed that way. And then went to start their own plumbing business, which was failing. And and even their like the guy who was their former boss made fun of them for it. Their family made fun of them for it, so they're basically seen as failures. They were seen as failures. Um, and then they at one point they find this pipe that leads to the Mushroom Kingdom in the sewers because they ran down there because they wanted to fix a pipe that burst and caused the city and caused water to like flow into the streets, Brooklyn or whatever. So they end up in the Mushroom Kingdom, but they get separated from each other somehow. Luigi ends up in an area near Bowser's castle and gets captured by Bowser and gets sidelined throughout the entire movie, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Mario finds Toad. They go to the Mushroom Kingdom. They meet Peach and the other residents in Toadsworth as well. Um, Peach and Mario uh they interact. They uh Peach Peach agrees to help Mario find his brother. Mario agrees to help Peach, stop Bowser. But Peach puts Mario to this obstacle course at first. Mario sucks at it, but then he eventually does it. Well, almost anyway, because he fucked up at the end. And Peach tried to comfort him by saying that it took her a lot of tries too, but no, it actually took her only one try because it's Peach. What do you expect? She's a queen. Anyway, princess, but whatever. Anyway, but yeah, they go off to stop Bowser. They go off with Toad to stop Bowser, but they go to Donkey Kong's area, enlist the help of Donkey Kong and his army. But first, Mario has to defeat Donkey Kong in a match, which he does with the cat power up because the cat power up is great. Use it always. DK gets salty about it and literally harasses Mario over it for the rest of the movie, which makes me want him to shut. It makes me want to tell him to shut the fuck up, but we'll get to that later. Bowser, he has Luigi trapped along with a lot of other prisoners, like the Penguin Army that tried to stop Bowser from taking over their kingdom, which was funny. Um, yeah, but there are other prisoners like this, and this one star character, this magic star character who's so fucked in the head and literally said some of the strangest shit ever, saying things like the only way we can escape is through the sweet kiss of death or something like that, the sweet embrace of death or whatever. He said something like that, and everyone was like, "God damn, you are a dark as child." Like that child was not right in the head, but he was a funny character, so I give him a pass. But anyway, um, so yeah, they got like Mario, Peach, Donkey Kong, Toad, the Kong army and shit. They all go and try to stop Bowser. There's this cart battle um on Rainbow Road. Of course it has to be Rainbow Road. Everyone hates Rainbow Road. Um Especially in Double Dash, but anyway. Um Bowser manages to capture all most of the army, most of the Kong army or whatever, led by Donkey Kong's father, by the way. Cranky Kong was his name. So Peach and Toad managed to escape. Mario and Donkey Kong fucking get captured. They get swallowed by a whale or some shit. They manage to get out. Um, they save each other during that whole mess. Like Mario saves Donkey Kong and then Donkey Kong saves Mario, so they're even and shit. Donkey Kong still acts like an ass to Mario though, but whatever. And so, Peach and Toad s- surrender to Bowser. Uh, which at first works. Like they really had a plan. They really had something up their sleeve. Peach gets a ice flower, just trashes the place, encases Bowser in ice. But Bowser escapes and literally captures everyone. Mario and Donkey Kong come to the rescue, and then I think at one point the Oh yeah, at one point the prisoners were like going to be dipped in lava, but Donkey Kong and Mario stopped that from happening. Um, and at one point, like something happens, and then a tear in the in the universe happens or whatever, and so literally a shit ton of things in the Mushroom Kingdom and as well as many of the residents literally get sucked into this pipe or whatever, and into the world and into the city of Brooklyn. And then Mario has one final showdown with Bowser there, but Luigi shows up and helps Mario save the day, which I don't care about, but I'll get to that in a moment. And then they use the star power up and become invincible and trash Bowser's ass. And then, there's this heartwarming moment. I say heartwarming in quotes because it's not really all that heartwarming. Um, where Mario's dad's like, I'm proud of you, son. And earlier in the movie, DK's father says the same thing to him, but I can't remember exactly when it was. But anyway, yes, and so, oh yeah, and after that, Mario and Luigi are living in the Mushroom Kingdom, and yada yada yada, whatever. That's the movie. I don't care about saying anything more. Let's just get into the positives and negatives. You don't like Rainbow Road? Mashes the dislike button. I'm sorry, but I hate it, especially in Double Dash. In I don't remember how it is on the Wii. I think it's on the Wii. It's okay. On the DS, it's okay. On the GameCube, it's shit. It's shit. It's shit. It's shit. Anyway, if you're finding the Tinkerer, honestly, the Tinkerer is not that bad in Miles Morales. The only reason I died to her was because I just wasn't being careful and watching my health. I literally could have done that without dying, but I wasn't being careful. She's really not that hard. Silver Sable is a lot harder, trust me. Which is funny because I once said the opposite, but then after like playing against Silver Sable for the first time, I was like, yeah, no, Silver Sable's harder than the Tinkerer. And her fight is a lot shorter. But anyway, I'm surprised Mario movie isn't about Mario just saving Peach. They probably want to avoid that cliched storyline, so they want to have Peach be up by Mario's side and have Luigi be the damsel instead, which I thought was not a good idea because Luigi was literally sidelined for for almost the entire movie. Like, why didn't they just choose someone else to be the damsel? It's the Super Mario Brothers movie. Mario Brothers in the title, and yet it's only about Mario, basically. It is literally only about Mario. It is literally only about Mario. Luigi was just a side character. And although he does have one cool scene at the end of the movie where he's like, he helps Mario out and they get the star power up and, take down Bowser. I don't care though. It was a nice scene, but I don't care because it doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, Mario and Luigi are teaming up to save Bowser. Yeah, except that they could have done that a lot sooner. So having Luigi just come here at the end and do something to help Mario, it's almost as bad as when the Arkham Knight, like the ending of the Arkham Knight game, without spoiling too much. Something like that happens in the art in the ending, and I'm like, I'm like, why is this happening? Why is this character showing up out of nowhere to help Batman out? Why? That character was irrelevant. It's the same thing here, where it's like you have a character show up at the end even though they barely did anything beforehand, and it's like that's supposed to be meaningful. No, no, you sideline Luigi. You sideline Luigi. How do you sideline my character? My favorite character in the Mario series. You sidelined him. Why didn't you just do what Super Mario 3D World did and have somebody else be the damsel while Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad are off to save the day? You could have done that, and you didn't. Bye, Nintendo. Yeah, Silver Sable is one tough bitch. Like, so fucking tough. Whoever taught her how to fight, I gotta that teacher. I gotta call that teacher. Like, teach me how to fight like her. Teach me how to fight like her. Like she fights almost as well as Batman does, and Batman is a tough ass fighter. Jesus. But anyway, the plot itself is very straightforward with as much meaning as the scene in the original game where Toad says, "Sorry, Mario, your princess is in another castle." Yeah, the movie does reference that, which is a pretty nice scene. Yeah, in hindsight, sidelining Luigi was a good idea because, in hindsight, I stress, because, yeah, it would give Mario more motivation to stop Bowser. But the thing is that, I guess, as you said, Maple, it literally went nowhere. If they literally should have just had Luigi be by Mario's side the whole time. But they could have done something with that. Make it to where, like, they could have done this. They literally showed this at the beginning of the movie where Mario was the more capable one compared to Luigi. He was more capable than Luigi. They could have done something with that, where it's like, throughout the journey, Mario and Luigi are working together, with Peach and Toad, but Mario's just, doing a lot of cool shit, and Luigi's just basically struggling throughout the entire thing. So at first he's struggling, and then he has a conflict with Mario because he's just envious of Mario's success, but then eventually realizes that he has his own strengths, and then he comes in clutch at the end and helps Mario and defeats Bowser. They could have done that. They should have done that, but they didn't do that, so I'm sad. So yeah. At this rate, Mouse is about to become pure electricity. Oh, we don't need another Electro. We do not need another Electro. Thank you. Although Electro is technically not pure electricity. At least not in At least not in the PS4 games. Anyway, let me just start with the negatives. We already summarized the plot. Negatives. Okay, let's start with the negatives. Okay, so this movie isn't bad, but it's not great either. It's just okay. The plot is very straightforward. It's like Bowser's going to take over shit. We need to stop him. That's not what makes the movie bad though. As I just said, Luigi was sidelined almost throughout the entire film. He was, and I hated that. I already talked about that, so we don't really need to talk about it some more. But it's like it could have used him more. It's like I appreciate that they didn't make Peach a damsel, but making somebody else a damsel when they shouldn't have been, that honestly wasn't any better. That really wasn't any better. Luigi has the most meme-worthy line in the movie, though. That is cinema. Basically. I barely remember that line, though. But yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, exactly. Mario isn't exactly known for having deep or complex stories, not even in the side games, like the RPG games. I mean, there's some depth to those, more so than the main games, but still, Mario isn't known for having super deep stories, so it's fine for the plot to be straightforward. Still doesn't excuse the fact that Luigi was sidelined throughout the entire film. Almost throughout the entire film. And I didn't like that. That's probably my biggest complaint with the movie. That and DK's inability to shut the fuck up. DK, and I know this is subjective. Maybe people didn't mind him, but I personally minded him. DK was hella annoying in this film. Hella annoying. He needs to shut the fuck up. He needs to shut the fuck up. He needs to shut the fuck up. Like, this guy was just so damn annoying. Like, so after he gets his ass kicked by Mario, although he kicks Mario's ass at first, um, he literally acts salty over this throughout the movie and constantly bitches about it, which is not necessarily bad. I'm not saying that you can't write salty characters, but with DK, they made it so annoying. He literally would not stop reminding me that, oh, I don't like Mario. Yeah, we get it. You don't like Mario, DK. We know you feel threatened by him. You don't need to keep reminding us every 3 fucking seconds. It's annoying. It was just annoying as hell. I was just tired of him. I was just tired of him. Not to mention that he didn't really do much in the plot in terms of usefulness. He does save Mario at one point, and that's it. That's it. This army was useless. Let's face it, the punk army was useless. They were all useless. They got captured, like, not long after they set out to find Bowser. So they were useless. And I feel like they didn't even add much to the film. I really feel like they didn't. Like, I'm sorry, but they just didn't. I feel like the film could have been written without them, or at least it could have been, like, set aside, like, pushed aside, like, have more minor roles, because they really didn't do shit. Yeah, exactly. Could have been less talky. If you didn't mind him that much, that's fine. I just personally found him annoying. Like, I'm just like, DK, shut the fuck up, please. Please shut the fuck up. Please. You and you're like, no wonder his father doesn't like him. I wouldn't like him either. I'm sorry, I know that sounds mean, but I can see why his father doesn't like him. Or at the very least, just finds him disappointing. I can see why. I can really see why. Sorry, not sorry. Seth Rogen basically just played himself, though. Good thing I haven't met him in real life. I wouldn't be able to last 5 minutes with that man in the same room. I wouldn't. The moment he opens his mouth, I'm out. I feel like if Luigi was going to get captured, they should have done that at the end of the second act. I agree. Not just that. I also agree. I also feel like if they were going to have him captured, they could have had him do shit. Like have him help, like have him figure out how to get out, and then even help the prisoners get out. And then they could like stage some sort of revolt against Bowser or whatever. Like they would plan an attack against Bowser, and then that would help Luigi, shine in his own way. They could have done that route as well. They could have done that. Like there are really there's not a single right way to fix Luigi's role here. There were different ways. There were different methods they could have used, and you and I have already listed a few of them, Maple. Like they could have had Luigi do more in the film. Basically, that's just what they should have done. He needed to do more. You can't call it the Super Mario Brothers movie and have only Mario doing the work for the most part. I did love the way Mario beat him in their fight. Yeah, that was a nice fight. I actually liked the fight between DK and Mario. And it was satisfying seeing Mario beat that smug ass ape into the ground. I loved that. The cat power up is OP. Change my mind. Don't. You'll lose. Um, but yeah, those are really the only two problems I had with the film. Well, there is another, but it's pretty subjective. If I'm gonna admit, if I'm going to be honest, it's pretty subjective. You might disagree with me a bit on this, Maple. That's fine, of course. I found the humor a bit lacking. I'm sorry, I just did. To me, the humor was just hit or miss, especially towards the beginning. The beginning barely made me laugh, but like the humor did get better throughout the movie for me. But overall, I just found it kind of lacking. But I will admit that it was more. There were more hits than misses. It was hit or miss, but there were more hits than misses. So there's that. But yeah, the humor. I just kind of found it a bit lacking. Like there were just some jokes that did not land, and I was like, they really wrote this. But that's just me. It's about as hit or miss as it usually is with Illumination animation. Yeah, that's the thing. I know that Illumination didn't touch the story this time, and thank God because they can't write worth a damn. They can't. They just can't. The Circle of Me one was just an anomaly. They cannot write worth a damn. They can. They cannot. But Illumination didn't even touch the story this time, and yet the story ended up being kind of lacking. I wasn't expecting the movie to be great. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting the movie to be great, but I still was expecting a bit more than I got. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. So I enjoyed the movie. I will say that I enjoyed the movie. It was alright. It was just kind of lacking. But hey, I mean, it did what it needed to do, so at least there was that. It did what it needed to do. It could have done more, but it did what it needed to do. So there's that. It's just an okay movie. It's very mid. Of course, I know that there are some people who are going to disagree with me. Surprisingly, Tammin actually gives this like thinks this movie is great. I'm like, how? How? But it's his opinion. So if you really like this movie, that's fine. I just don't. I don't dislike it, but I wouldn't say it's great. It's not. It's just not. Not to me. To me, this movie is mid. It's mid. So yeah, I'm sorry. Personally, ooh, caps lock. I found the humor hit or miss. More hits than misses, but still plenty of misses. You're not alone, Chi. Thank you. Because it's like you're gonna tell it the Super Mario Brothers movie. Well, where's the part? The Mario Brothers part is that title just for show? Because Luigi didn't do anything in the film other than that one scene at the end. Well, that one thing at the end where he helped Mario against Bowser, helped Mario take down Bowser. That's all he did. It's like the movies. The creators were like, we don't want to shit on Peach, so let's shit on Luigi instead. Great plan, really great plan. Anyway, oh yeah, right. A few songs are out of place, as Maple pointed out. Like the tracks here are mostly original. The soundtrack is mostly original, with classic Mario tracks, remixes of Mario tracks and whatnot. And I think there might be. I'm not sure about this. There might be a few new ones in there. I don't know. I don't. I didn't listen to the whole soundtrack, but yeah, basically the whole soundtrack, almost the entire soundtrack, is basically Mario focused. But there are a few songs in there that don't quite fit. Few popular songs such as "Take on Me" and "I Need a Hero." Those should not have been in the film, in my opinion. They don't ruin the film, and I won't say that they're like complete. I guess I wouldn't say that they're like so out of place to the point where it's like just really jarring, but they're still kind of jarring. It's like you can tolerate them, but at the same time, you just feel like it just feels like they shouldn't have been put there. That's how I feel with those songs. So there are a few songs that really should not have been put in the movie, in my opinion. I should have just taken those out, but they didn't ruin the movie, so yeah. It's about as hit or miss as it usually is with Illumination animation, and just like with most of their other movies, there are times where the movie is too gagged heavy, moves too fast, and does give you a lot of moments to breathe. The Illumination movies do feel like that. Like Sing 2 in particular, there's a lot that goes on in that movie, but it happens so quickly that you don't really take time to, like, you don't really don't get a lot of time to process any of it. You don't get a lot of time to process it. Hence why it's a lot worse than Sing 1, in my opinion. And Sing 1 was not even good, but it had more effort put into it than Sing 2. I will just say that right now. Anyway, um, but yeah, like Illumination, do better. That's literally what everyone needs to. I feel like if I ever had any merch, I would put on a shirt. I would create a shirt that says Illumination Entertainment, do better. Just do better. I feel like that would sell because we all know how lazy Illumination is when it comes to this kind of stuff. They just do the bare minimum, and it's annoying. Like I'm not saying that every movie has to be a masterpiece. I'm not saying that every movie needs to be on the level of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish or Into the Spider-Verse. I'm not saying that. But people at the end of the day want movies that are good and that have effort put into them. Illumination doesn't do that. They don't. Yeah, I Need a Hero was nice, sort of. In my opinion, it was okay. In my opinion, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It did feel slightly out of place for me, but it was okay. But yeah, every other song, especially Take on Me. Why did they pick Take on Me? Why would you put that in this movie? Why? That was so out of place. But hey, I mean, at least Nintendo was behind the story this time. So the story didn't end up being complete shit, but didn't end up being great either. But then again, with the kind of movie that Nintendo and Illumination were making, you can't really expect too much. If you're expecting a 9 out of 10 movie, unfortunately, you're going to be disappointed. I was expecting something that was like maybe 8 out of 10 at most, maybe seven and a half, like 7.5 or 8. Instead, I've got a 7. So I was expecting a bit more, but not to the point where it's like, oh, this movie's going to be a masterpiece. No, because again, it was Illumination and Nintendo working on this. But it wasn't going to be great. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like I didn't expect too much, but I expected a bit more than what I got. But I didn't get that because I knew the movie wasn't going to be great. I knew from the very first moment I saw the trailer, I was like, this movie's not going to be great. But I was still expecting them to do a bit more because again, it was like, okay, so Illumination's not going to do the story. Nintendo is. Nintendo's going to write the story. So I was like, okay, so we're not going to get a great movie, but we'll at least get a good one. We didn't get that. Yes. But it's not bad, but it's not great, or I wouldn't say even good either. It's just decent. It's okay. It's okay. It's an okay movie. Why did I put hyphens here? I can't grammar today. Okay, anyway. Yeah, like I was hoping that this movie would be Illumination's equivalent of Into the Spider-Verse and The Last Wish as well. Of course, it wasn't going to be as great as those movies, but I thought it would have been a bit better. So like I'm with Maple and Saber Spark here. Saber Spark, that YouTube film critic. We all basically felt the same way. We knew that this movie wasn't going to be great, but we did expect it to be a bit better than it was, unfortunately. Like I was like, okay, Nintendo's going to write the story instead of Illumination. Okay, maybe we'll get something good. We got something decent, but I wouldn't say good. Like nothing. This movie is just very mid. It's okay. That's it. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. That's just it. That's just it. The voice acting. Okay. Well, There's also another thing Maple brings up in the chat, but I'll get to that later. It's about Yoshi. But let's talk about the voice acting really fast. The voice acting, well, okay, so okay, well, let's get this out of the way. Chris Pratt, he had a decent performance. I will say that it was a decent performance. People didn't like the fact that he was selected because he didn't sound like, the Mario we all know and love. He was no Charles Martinet, or whatever is however you pronounce his name. But, you do get used to his voice really quickly. And surprisingly enough, Chris Pratt's voice kind of does work for Mario. Surprisingly, it does because Mario kind of starts off as a loser at the beginning. He's the underdog character, and Chris Pratt's voice, no shade to him. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to insult him or anything, but his voice just kind of works for that kind of character. So even if you don't like the voice itself, his performance actually wasn't bad. Could have been like I won't say it was great. I don't think it was great, but it wasn't bad either. Now everyone else was fine. Some were good, like Luigi, and like Luigi was good, and some were great, like Bowser. Jack Black played a great Bowser. So yeah, Peach was good, Toad was good. Really, it's just Mario that to me just had an okay performance. Everyone else was good or great even. So the voice acting was overall solid, though. Honestly, I really wish they had cast better actors overall because I feel like they could have done that. But overall, it was solid. Also, one more negative. Where the hell was Yoshi? How do you forget to put my favorite and one of the most popular characters in the Mario movie? That's just the thing. It's just really weird. Like that ending scene made no sense. It was like you see, like there was a scene at the end of the movie where Yoshi was like there was a Yoshi egg in like the sewers or whatever. And I'm like, okay, what does this mean? Does this mean anything? Is this sequel baiting? I can't tell. I can't tell. Like this doesn't mean anything. This means nothing at all. Yeah, Yoshi could have made an appearance in this movie. He could have made an appearance, but for some reason he didn't. Like I think you do see a few Yoshis at the very beginning of the movie, but only for like a few seconds. Other than that, you don't see any Yoshi ever again. So it's like, okay, like how do you like you could have used Yoshis. Like you literally could, no joke. Princess Peach and Toadstool literally could have enlisted their help against Bowser. Like not just Donkey Kong's army, but also the Yoshis. You could have asked them as well, or at least taken like some of them. They probably could have helped out. Like you could have used the Yoshis in this film, but why didn't you, Nintendo? Bowser Jr. would have been a nice addition, but honestly, I don't see the like the movie didn't really need him. It would have been nice to have him, but the movie didn't really need him or any of the other Bowser kids. Even though they're not, most of them aren't even his kids. Only Bowser Jr. is his kid, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, whoever played Toad was pretty good. Jack Black was perfect as Bowser. Yeah, that's the thing. The whole voice actor cast, like they reek of celebrity voice actors. They do. Like it feels like mostly celebrities voiced these characters, but they were fine overall. That's just the feeling I got from the casting. They could have gotten better voice actors, but overall they were actually pretty fine for the most part. So yeah. This movie could have used the Yoshis. I wouldn't say this movie is better than Despicable Me 1, but it's better than Sing and pretty much all the other Despicable Me movies, including the Minions movies. Oh no, no, I would say The Rise of is also better than this movie. The Rise of Gru is better than this movie. I'm gonna be. That's how I feel. 'Cause I actually like The Rise of Gru. I liked it more than this movie. This movie I like, but kind of. It's like I like it. I enjoyed it. I liked it, but it's like it's just very okay. It's okay. He voiced Mario and Luigi's father, and I don't know how to pronounce that name, but I did not know that. So yeah, Paulina does make an appearance in this movie, but she's like one of the news anchors in Brooklyn. So she has a life outside of Mario. Cool. And Anya Taylor-Joy, the actress for Peach, wore a cosplay of Peach's jumpsuit at the premiere of the movie. Oh, that's nice. She looked damn good, and I bet she did. Okay. Sorry if I sound a bit rushed. I'm kind of tired for some reason. It's a good thing I started with the Puss in Boots movie, honestly, because that's the one I wanted to talk about more, if I'm going to be honest. But anyway, anything else regarding the negatives? Mm, I love seeing Pauline. Did I say Paulina? I think her name's Pauline, right? Sorry. Sorry, I can't get these names right sometimes. Pauline. It's like, well, what about Daisy? Daisy didn't need to be in the film. We don't need Daisy. We don't need Bowser Jr. or Daisy. It would have been nice to see, but it's like the film wouldn't have worked with them. But I will get to the positives in a moment. I'm just trying to think of more negatives because there are positives in this film. I'd be lying if I said there weren't any. Yeah, that's the thing. This film does fan service pretty well. Like, if as a Mario movie, I would say it's good, but as a movie in general, it's just okay. It's basically my sentiments are basically the same as Maple's in this regard. As a Mario movie, it's good, but as a movie in general, it's okay. It's just okay. It's okay. Yeah, this movie could have used Koopas or Goombas. I mean, technically they did appear, but they didn't, have a lot of it. They weren't really all that present in the film, but they technically were there. Okay, so I think that's all the negatives. Positives. There are positives. Let me go back to the humor for a moment before we talk about the animation. The humor was, again, the humor wasn't bad, but it could have used more work. Some of the jokes made me laugh, though. Like, some of them made me laugh. Like, the segment with Bowser singing the Peaches song. Peaches, 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 peaches. That made me laugh. And he does it twice in the film, which is like, that was just so funny. And there are other jokes that actually made me laugh as well. So yeah, this movie did make me laugh, but I will say that not all the jokes landed. But there are more funny jokes than unfunny jokes, so I will give the movie that much. So yeah, the humor, it was okay. The humor was decent. It was decent. Anything else? And now the song is stuck in my head again because it's such a catchy song, and Jack Black's charismatic and funny personality just only adds to it. He really did do the role of Bowser really well in this movie. He did it really well. But anyway, the animation was great. I mean, it's Illumination, so of course the animation is going to be good. But the animation was great, and yeah, it actually does look like it could be from a video game. But then again, Illuminations. But then again, this isn't too surprising because um, most of Illumination's movies have that effect where they're it looks like the movies came right out of video games. That's just how they work. That's just their style for some reason. It works. It's weird, but it works for them. Like no joke, the first Minions movie literally looked like it was from a video game, like straight from a video game. I think that's the most video game looking movie out of all these, not including the new Super Mario Brothers movie. But anyway, but yeah, the animation was really good here. You could actually take, and you could really take some of these cutscenes and put them in a Mario game, which is a good thing. I'm not saying that the style of this is a bad thing. It's weird to me, but it's not bad. So yeah, the animation was pretty good. I liked how the characters look. Well, sort of. I don't know why, but I mean, I liked how the environments looked. I liked the overall look of the movie, but there were certain characters that I just wasn't too fond of. I don't know why, but I find Mario and Luigi's designs a bit off-putting, but that's just my personal opinion. Because everyone else I didn't mind. It's just literally Mario and Luigi's that. Well, actually, it's not even just Luigi's. It's not even Luigi's. It's just Mario's and like just mostly Mario's that I have an issue with. I don't know why, but I just don't like his design. It's just off-putting to me. Luigi's wasn't as bad. I think it could have been better, but honestly, it's just this is pretty subjective because I know there are plenty of people that didn't mind the character designs. I don't mind them for the most part, but Mario's is just off-putting to me. I don't know why. Just don't know why. I just don't like it. There's just something off-putting about it. Trying to get the Spider-Man 2 secret tokens right now. I hope you find my guide on those helpful because goddamn, those tokens are hella hard to find. So, but yeah, the animation was great overall. The movie does really look good, and the characters are fluid and expressive. Their movements are pretty good. Like, really, I can't say anything bad about the animation. It was actually pretty good. I'd say it's probably the best looking Illumination movie in my opinion. I would say it's the best looking one. Illumination actually did. Illumination actually put more effort into their shit this time. I will say that. Even though they didn't touch the story, and I'm glad they didn't touch the story. But yeah, I would say that this is probably the best looking movie they have. So they actually did step things up this time around. Although yeah, there were dogs there were dogs in the movie that looked like they came out of the Secret Life of Pets. That's very true. Like there was this one dog character that Mario and Luigi were fighting in an apartment or not apartment, a house, mansion, whatever. They were trying to fix a sink there, and they did a pretty good job. But then the dog came in and just ruined everything. And that dog did look like it came from the Secret Life of Pets. And I was like, Illumination, you aren't slick. You are not slick. You aren't slick, bitch. It's like it's like no joke. This reminds me of the time one day, in the Sing movies, in the Sing 2 movie actually, not just the Sing 2 movie. The wolf character, the guy that, the villain of the story, um he looks like he basically looks like Gru with the wolf's head. He does. He looks like Gru with the wolf's head. So Illumination was just reusing assets, and they're doing the same thing here with the dogs, with the dog that tried to attack Mario and Luigi. I'm like, Illumination, you aren't slick. We can tell when you reuse assets. We can tell. We can tell when you reuse character models and shit. We can tell. You're not slick. You're not slick. Hi to everyone who's entering the chat. I'm not. I know some people have said hi to me already. I'm sorry. Like I'm just trying to keep up with the chat because there's a lot of things being said in it that I want to address. But welcome to my rant stream. Okay. But yeah, the animation was good. Definitely Illumination's best work in my opinion. Like the characters were expressive and their movements were fluid and shit. Really just all around good. The environments looked good. Although that brings me to another negative I want to talk about. One that Sluggy Man brought up just now. The movie is a bit too fast paced. It is. It does. It feels like it suffers from a pacing issue because there are several environments in the universe, but we never really get a chance to fully take them in. Because other than the Rainbow Road, I really cannot remember a single set piece from the film. Other than the Mushroom Kingdom, I cannot remember a single set piece from the film. I can't. So yeah, like the movie does suffer from a pacing problem. It's not big. I won't say it's a huge problem, but it's pretty noticeable. But yeah, going back to this, I agree with Sluggy Man that there were good action scenes. There were good action scenes, like the Rainbow Road thing, the Rainbow Road thing, a battle Mario had with Donkey Kong, the final battle Mario and Luigi had with Bowser. Those were all good action scenes, as well as the obstacle course montage with Mario and Peach. This movie did have some good action scenes. I enjoyed them. Yeah, I literally just mentioned that Peach's training course, and as well as the final fight with Bowser in Brooklyn. See, I'm just beating you to these, or you're beating me to these. But yeah, as Maple said, but yeah, the action scenes are good. As Maple said, this movie was probably best, the probably the most faithful adaptation. Oops, I can't spell today. Of the Mario series. Because I know that this isn't the first Mario movie out there. There was this one live action one that people hated, I think. I think it was made in like 1993 or something like that. I don't remember. I don't care to watch it. But yeah, I'm sure that that one wasn't as good as this one. Because like that one looks kind of crappy. I haven't seen it, so who knows. But yeah, like this was a pretty faithful adaptation. Plenty of references to the Mario series, like the blue shell power up. That was actually in the that was actually in place during the rain. It was used during the Rainbow Road segment and literally destroyed the track, part of the track. But yeah, there are callbacks, references, Easter eggs, world building, classic power ups like the cat power up and shit. Plenty of references. Diddy Kong makes a reference, a cameo. Said reference. He makes a cameo at one point along with Dixie Kong, but Dixie Kong doesn't, and a few other members of the Kong crew. but only Diddy Kong has any lines during that moment. Um, but yeah, like plenty of yeah, plenty of good Mario stuff in the movie. It really does feel like a Mario movie for the most part. For the most part, because there are still uh places where Illumination, where you feel like this was made by Illumination and not by Nintendo. But mostly it feels like an actual Mario film. You have references and callbacks and shit like that. Plenty of them. I listed a few of them, and there are more, but I'm too tired to list anymore. I don't know why. I'm just damn. But yeah, if you're a Mario fan, this movie might please you. I'm a Mario fan, but it didn't please me. It satisfied me, I would say. I was just satisfied. Like, I was like, okay, this movie's okay. I liked it. It's okay. But it didn't blow me away, nor would I even say it was good. It was just okay. Yeah, that's the thing. The movie wouldn't have worked without fan service. I can't see it working without fan service. And fan service is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, that's basically what part of what made the movie the way it was, and that's fine. Like fan service is fine in this regard. It can be misused, but I think it was used pretty well here. People wanted plenty of Mario references in this movie, and they got it. So yeah. Oh, you find the live action Mario movie entertaining? Not good, but entertaining? That's fair. I feel the same way about the first Grease movie. It's shitty, if I'm going to be honest. It's just not good. But I actually liked it and found it quite entertaining, so I get that. The original score, yeah. The original soundtrack is quite good. It feels like songs that came from a Mario game. Plenty of classic tracks in there, albeit remixed. So yeah, the score is good, minus the few popular songs that are out of place, like "Take on Me." But other than that, the soundtrack is actually good in this movie. So yeah, the voice acting. I'm not gonna name that as a positive or a negative. I don't think because it's like I wouldn't say it's either. It's not bad. But I wouldn't say it's great either. I'm just gonna say this: the voice acting was fine overall, though it could have been better. That's just what I'm gonna say. I'll just say that. I already explained why earlier. The voice acting's fine overall. Some actors are great, some are just. Eh. Jack Black was great. He felt like the only, as Maple just said in the chat. Jack Black felt like the only celebrity voice actor in there that didn't actually feel like a celebrity voice actor, like not just someone they just randomly picked. Someone had who actually feels like a voice actor. Whereas everyone else more or less just feels like they were there because they were just picked. Even though they had good performances, or at the very least decent performances, they don't feel like voice actors. If that makes sense, just celebrities. But Jack Black didn't have that problem. He was the best one in the movie, hands down. He was just the best one. And yeah, some people are pretty lazy when it comes to voice casting. I'm just like, how people sound actually matters when it comes to casting. But some directors don't understand that. They don't. And that's why you get disasters sometimes. But this movie, fortunately, was not a disaster in terms of voice acting. It could have been better overall, but it was fine. Anything else I can say? Are there any other positives? I liked some of the characters. I could say I already mentioned that, I think. Well, sort of. I liked some of the characters, namely Toad. I liked Toad. I liked Peach. I liked Cranky Kong. I hated his son, but I liked I liked Cranky Kong himself. Um, I liked Bowser. Bowser was great. Bowser is actually pretty great in this film. He felt like the same Bowser from the games. Well, sort of. It's like they played with this character a bit here. He's still menacing, but at the same time, I think they played up his goofy side a bit, which I'm fine with because he was I liked him in this film. He was no less menacing than the games, but he was also a bit goofier, and it worked. It worked. What about when Peach got ice powers and basically turned to Elsa? That was another good action scene, and again another reference to the Mario series, along with the line that Toad says, where it's like, "Your princess is in another castle." That was good. So again, if you're a Mario fan, you'll be pleased to know that there are plenty of Easter eggs, references, callbacks, and shit like that in the film. The film does not disappoint when it comes to that shit. There's even a segment with the bullet bill towards the end of the movie where Mario has to fight one. Well, not fight it, but lead it away from, like, keep it from destroying the Mushroom Kingdom, basically. But unfortunately, that accidentally causes Brooklyn, the Mushroom Kingdom, to end up in Brooklyn. So, oops. At least I think that's how it happened. I don't completely remember. So, are there any other positives or negatives I can list? I need more water, but I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some more water. Let me drink some water. Mhm. Yeah, Bowser has always been a simp for Peach, so this isn't really surprising. I mean, you could argue that he acts simpier in this film than he does in the games, but really, he's always been a simp for Peach because he doesn't really want to hurt her. At the end of the day, he just wants her to marry him, which Peach will never do. Which is funny. Like, I feel like this is funny. I know that Peach will never love Bowser or even like him, but just think about it. Like, if Bowser ever actually, talked to Peach like a normal person and tried to actually be nice to her and, tried to hang out with her, shit like that, maybe she would have better, maybe she would be nicer towards him. But, it's Bowser. He's not going to do that shit. He does what he wants, even if it's against the very goal, even if it like defeats the very purpose of what he's trying to do. So it's like, hey Bowser, if you try to, be nice to Peach and treat her like an actual person, maybe she won't try to run away from you and shit like that. But it's Bowser, so what do you expect? Who wouldn't be a simp for Peach in the movie? She's beautiful, charming, and can kick ass. Exactly. And I That's another thing. I should point that out. I do like that the movie. I liked that the movie didn't make Peach a damsel and made her badass because she was badass, even more than Mario. But not to the point where Mario couldn't do shit because he could do shit too. Because to be fair, Peach just had a lot more experience. But anyway, like, but yeah, I like that the movie didn't make Peach a damsel and decided to they want to avoid that. I'm glad they did because Peach is actually a good character in this film. She's a good character. I liked her, as I said earlier. Um, and they made her badass. Like she's the one. She does a lot of shit in this film. She's the one that saves Toad from falling to his death during the Rainbow Road segment. I think she's the one that uses the Ice Star against Bowser and his army during the wedding. She works with Toad to. I think she works with Toad to sneak that power up uh into the wedding. But Toad's pretty cool too, as well. Not just Peach. Toad's pretty cool as well. But Peach is just to me. She's like the most badass out of everyone. She just kicks ass. I love her. She already kicks ass in some of the games, but here, which I like. I like that they did that here as well. So there's that. The Chigaman. We'll be right back. I need to bring that back. Chigaman found the last token. Thank you for your services. You are welcome. Because I know people hated that shit. That was funny though, where Peach was like, "Did you really think I was going to marry you?" And Bowser was like, "Yeah, kind of." And then she freezes him, but then he's like, "I'm gonna just escape the ice." But anyway, yeah, exactly. Peach has always been a badass. Not in every Mario game. Like in Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario 3D World, Super Smash Brothers, Super Princess Peach, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, Super Paper Mario. Like Peach has always kicked ass. She kicks ass. She just doesn't get a lot of chances to because Nintendo's like, no, just make her the damsel a lot of the time, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, the same thing happens to Zelda as well. But but when Peach is allowed to kick ass, she kicks ass. She's athletic and she's smart and she's pretty. No, can you blame Bowser for wanting to marry her? Mario loves her. So, it's not so of course Bowser's gonna want to love her too. Mario simps for Peach as well. Let's not pretend that he doesn't. Mario simps for Peach too. But he's just not as tryhard. He's just not as much of a tryhard as Bowser is because Peach likes him as well, and plus Mario's a good person. So, but yeah, yeah, exactly. Super Princess Peach. Peach kicks ass in that game. She defeats Bowser on her own with the help of a special umbrella called Perry the Parasol. So yeah, yeah, that's another thing. I also liked how determined Mario was throughout the movie. He didn't know when to quit, which actually ended up leading to his victory. He was just a guy that you could beat down, but the more you beat him down, the more determined he is not to give up. Kind of like JoJo from the first arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's kind of like that, where it's like you keep knocking him down, but he gets stronger. It feels like that, and it feels kind of like Naruto as well because Naruto is pretty much the same thing. He pretty much works the same way. So Mario is basically that character that gets beaten down but just comes right back up. And like you can crush his body, but you can't crush his spirit, bitch. You can't. You just can't. So yeah, I liked how the movie portrayed Mario's determination. Oops. So, which is pretty much essential part of his character. He's always been a determined guy. So this isn't surprising, and I like that the movie was faithful to that. Basically, like Deadpool that just never dies, right? Because Deadpool technically can't die, unfortunately, and there's a reason why. But it's gross. It's gross as hell. It's just ew. I just don't want to talk about it. But yeah. And that last scene with Mario and Luigi using the superstar to beat Bowser was just awesome sauce. Yeah, which leads into the third point that, there were good action scenes, so there was basically that. So having the Mario Brothers team up like that was pretty cool. Even if they were apart for a good chunk of the movie, having them show up together to beat Bowser like that, and in such a badass way too, with the power up, with the star power up and shit. That was pretty cool. Because Bowser was just owning them beforehand, but then they went and owned him in return. That was almost as satisfying as seeing Supersonic in Sonic 2. Right, I agree. Because seeing Supersonic in Sonic 2 was just really great. This scene is almost on that level. Almost. So yeah, there are more positives than negatives here. How many positives do I have here? Like nine. How many negatives? Six. Which I'm not too surprised about, though I was honestly expecting to have a bit few more negatives than positives, but yeah, it makes sense. Because again, I said that this movie was okay. So are there any other positives and negatives I can think of? I can't think of any. I can't think of any. Let's see, humor, animation. I didn't list the story in either of these lists. I didn't put the story in either of these lists because well, I mean, I kind of talked about the story for the negatives, so I guess that's already been covered. So let's see, humor, animation, story, action scenes, music, voice acting. Did the voice acting. I can't think of anything else. The characters I talked about. I think I covered everything. I feel like that's another scene where you can play the song Undefeatable from Frontiers and would fit greatly. Probably. To be honest, almost any scene in anything where a character gets to be OP would be perfect to add that song. Exactly. I can't think of anything else to say. I can't. I think that's just about it. I guess I'll just go on to the conclusion. Let's see the comments. The Puss in Boots sequel was great, even amazing. The new Mario movie was okay. It was just okay. It was just okay. It was okay. I would give Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. The Super Mario Brothers movie will get a 7 out of 10 from me. That's how I feel. I might actually no, you know what? Here, let me give this a 9.5 out of 10. That's how much I like the movie. I'll give Puss in Boots: The Last Wish a 9.5 out of 10. I'll give it that. I'll just give it that. I feel like it deserves that. To me, it's on the same level as Kung Fu Panda 2, or at least very close to it. Like, I feel like it's in the same league as Kung Fu Panda 2, which I gave a perfect score, actually. So I feel like this comes close to that, or maybe even is the same. Yeah, actually, let me just edit this last part. The new Mario movie was just okay as as a film in general, but if you're a die-hard Mario fan, you might be pleased with this movie. You might be quite pleased with this movie. So, if you were a Mario fan, you'd probably rate this movie maybe an 8, an 8.5, or even a 9 out of 10. But if you're just looking at this from a general lens, like just with the just as a movie in general, you'd probably give it like a 7 or a 7.5 maybe. Because this movie is just okay in general. The writing isn't the greatest. It's not bad, but it's not the greatest either. I've mentioned several reasons as to why that is. But yeah, that's really all I can think of. But yeah, if you're expecting you're expecting storytelling to be as good as Into the Spider Verse or Puss in Boots: The Last Wish for this movie, which I didn't expect. If you're expecting that, you're going to be disappointed. I feel like some of the popular critics out there were expecting that. You shouldn't have expected that. I mean, it's okay to expect a bit more than what you got, but really, we all knew that this was not going to be the greatest movie ever. I knew that this movie was going to be less than good because to me, it's less than good. It's not bad, but it's less than good. It's just okay. It's decent. That's it. It's mid. You pretty much have the same range as me. Okay. Makes sense. The Last Wish gets 4 out of 4 stars from me. Super Mario Brothers movie gets a 3 out of 4 stars from me. Okay, so those ranges are similar to mine because those would basically be 100% and 75% respectively. Yeah, it would be nice to see Daisy, Rosalina, Wario, Waluigi, and Bowser Jr. It would be nice to see them. Maybe even the Bowser kids, the Koopa kids, whatever the fuck they're called. And King Boo would be nice to see. We did see King Bob-omb technically. I forgot about King Bob-omb. We do see him, but only for a very short moment before he blows himself up because somebody lit his fuse by accident. Well, on purpose, actually. I can't remember, but we do technically see him for a brief moment. So yeah, The Last Wish is a great movie, an amazing movie. The new Super Mario Brothers movie, it's fun and enjoyable. I liked it. I enjoyed it, but it's not a masterpiece. Nor was I expecting it to be one, but I was expecting a bit more than what I got. Like maybe a 7.5 or an 8, but as of now, I give this a 7. I give it a 7. But at least there was some effort put into it from Illumination. I could tell that Illumination actually did try harder in this movie than they did with the other movies. Although to be fair, it's not like they had much of a choice considering that they were working with Nintendo. And it's like Nintendo's like, y'all better not fuck this up. We know how you are. You better not fuck this up. And they didn't fuck it up. They didn't fuck it up. People actually, not the critics, not the popular critics, but the general audience, they actually like this movie. I think there's a score on Rotten Tomatoes of 96%. I think it's 96%. I don't remember. But yeah, people generally like this movie. So Nintendo and Illumination actually did what they had to do. They did their jobs. They succeeded. So will this get a sequel? It's probably going to get a sequel because I feel like the very last scene with the Yoshi egg, I feel like that was meant to be sequel baiting. Although I wouldn't say it was very good sequel baiting, but whatever. I feel like this might get a sequel. Maybe they'll actually use more of the characters. Who knows? If it doesn't get a sequel, I'm fine with that. Honestly, I don't really care for a sequel for this movie, but if they make one and it turns out to be good, I'm all for it. I just hope it doesn't suck. I doubt it'll suck because again, it's like I feel like Nintendo and Illumination will look at this movie, as some people said in the chat. I feel like they will look at this movie and see what the flaws are, and then try to address those in the next movie or make up for those in the next movie. Hopefully, they learn from this movie. They did well, but At least in terms of sales, not in terms of writing, but in terms of sales, they did well, and in terms of marketing as well. And yeah, the movie's doing well. So hopefully they'll take what they did here and make it better in the sequel. Like hopefully they'll learn from what this movie did wrong, which was quite a bit, and then they'll, do better with the next movie. I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping for it. It might not happen, but I'm hoping for it. Yeah, that's the thing. The new Super Mario Brothers movie is it's all right, but it's in my opinion it's a bit overrated. Like I feel like there are better adaptation movies out there. This one was good in terms of and like if you're looking at it through a Mario lens, it's good. But if you're not, then it's just okay. A Kingdom Hearts movie would be pretty interesting. This movie has now made $724 million worldwide and will likely make $1 billion by the end of the month. God damn! Oh, you didn't watch either of the movies, Gabe? Damn. This might lead to more movies such as Zelda and Metroid getting made. Nice. I need to charge this phone. Hang on. Oh yeah, I forgot. Like, I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but like another funny scene in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was, the scene where. So I mentioned that there was a scene at the beginning of the movie where Puss literally sticks his sword into the sleeping giant's under the sleeping giant's fingernails, like sticks it right in there, which was painful but at the same time funny. And then he does it again with Kitty Softpaws towards the end of the film with Jack Horner's fingernails. Like at that point, Jack Horner had turned into a giant, so Puss and Kitty literally stuck their swords right into his fingernails, and I was like, ooh. And even the Goldilocks and the Three Bears winced as well. It was funny. Like that's the worst place to get stabbed, and by something as thin and sharp as a sword. Ooh, I felt that. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Puss in Boots, just great. The new Mario movie, it was alright. Oh yeah, I forgot. I mentioned this yesterday, but I went to see the movie with my cousin, her sisters, and her boyfriend. Um, my cousin's feelings, like pretty much felt the same way as me. She thought the movie was okay. She liked it. She enjoyed it. Same here. We both liked it and enjoyed it, but we were like, it's okay. And her boyfriend had the same thoughts. I feel like all of us had similar thoughts because like we liked the movie, but we didn't really think it was a masterpiece. But that's okay. Yeah, that's right. We will be getting a third Sonic movie at some point. The Knuckles series. I think I heard about that. Knuckles series? I wonder how that'll turn out. Hopefully it's not anything like Tails' Sky Flying High Flying Adventure. There was a game like that on the Game Gear, I think, and people hate it. But hopefully it's nothing like that. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, so if you're talking about like a TV series or whatever, or a show series or whatever, Illumination needs advice from the people who made the Sonic movie. I agree. Well, I mean, you can say either Illumination need or Illumination needs. Like, Illumination can be plural or singular, but whatever. Anyway, I agree. Like, Illumination could stand to learn from other people, other studios, like DreamWorks did. DreamWorks learned from Sony regarding the animation style that was in Into the Spider-Verse. So Illumination could learn and experiment. But that's the thing about them. They don't like to experiment. They like to stick with what's safe. Like, they like to do the minimum amount of work possible for the maximum amount of profit. That is how they work. If you've seen their movies, you know that this is how they work. It's very rare for them to actually put full effort into anything. Like there are exceptions like The Rise of Gru, Despicable Me 1, and the Super Mario Brothers movies. Those are exceptions. Like those are the exceptions to the rule. Normally they do not care enough. They just don't. And when comparing the Mario and Sonic movies, like I said, I think Mario's a better adaptation, but Sonic works better as its own movies. Exactly. The thing about the Sonic movies don't aren't exactly faithful to the series, but they work better as their own thing compared to the Mario movies where it's like the exact opposite. They're more faithful. Well, at least the newest one is. I haven't seen the others, but at the same time, the newest movie doesn't really work. Doesn't really do well on its own. If that makes sense, because if you take off the Mario lens, it's only an okay movie. Whereas if you put on the Sonic lens for the other two movies, the movies are just they're decent. They're all right. But take out the lenses, and then it's like, oh, these Sonic movies are great. It's kind of funny how the Sonic movies got rated better by critics than the Mario movie. That's true, actually. And I would have to agree with them because the Sonic movies are just better. I'm sorry, but they're better overall. They are. They have better writing. They just do. And they're live action. Not that live action movies can't be good or even as good as other types of movies, but a lot of them suck nowadays. So it's nice to have Sonic movies that don't suck. It's nice to have live action movies that don't suck for a change. I think a movie where Mario meets Sonic would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, you have the Olympic Games shit. Might as well do it with the movie. But how would that work, though? I don't know. But that's really all I have to say. I don't have anything else left to say. I really wish I had taken a break between movies, talking about these movies, but that's okay. I would almost rate Mario on par with the first Sonic movie, but the second Sonic movie trumps both of them. I agree. I do agree. I do agree with that. Like the first Mario, like the new Mario movie, it's not too far behind the first Sonic movie, but the second Sonic movie just blows both out of the water, especially the Mario movie. Like the first Sonic movie still holds up well compared to the second, but the second one is just better than both the first Sonic movie and the Mario movie, in my opinion. For all we know, this could be the start of a Super Smash Bros. Cinematic universe, right? Like basically Nintendo and Sega's answer to the Marvel multiverse. It could be something like that. That'd actually be pretty cool. I could see that working. It'd be a bit trickier to work with though, because I don't think crossovers they don't happen as much in Mario Sonic than compared to like Marvel. Marvel has plenty of crossovers, so they're used to that kind of shit. But with Mario and Sonic, that's not something that happens a lot, so they might struggle with that at first, but they'll eventually find their feet. Like they'll eventually like get the hang of it. But that's all I have left to say. Sega does what Nintendo don't. Get fresh critical ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. Right? So Sega actually did better than Nintendo for once. Nintendo has usually outperformed Sega, let's be honest. Nintendo's just a better video game company for a number of reasons. But there are times where Sega actually does better. Like the movies themselves, sorry, but the Sonic movies they're just better. Sorry, than the new Mario movie, they just are. They just are. Sorry, not sorry. So Sega's actually better with movies, it seems. Oops. Anyway, anything else I can say? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. So shall this be the end? I really don't know what else to talk about because I think I've covered just about everything. So now I've gotten these movies out of the way. I want to get them done as soon as possible so that I don't forget. So I don't forget what happened in the Super Mario Brothers movie because I know it's going to be a while before it comes out on digital. And I mean, I think it's already out on digital, but it's like $30. I'm like, ew, no. But like, it's going to take a while before it's released on 4K or Blu-ray or DVD. So I'm like, let me just take care of this now so I don't forget what happens in the movie. I really don't know what else to talk about, so I guess that's it. Sorry if I sound a bit rushed, but I'm just kind of tired at this point. Cause good thing I saved the, I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. Good thing I saved the, the movie that was of lesser quality for last. Cause I would have hated to talk about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish while being tired. What about a rant stream of the first three Spider-Man movie games? I should do that, but I'll have to play I've technically played Spider-Man 3, but only the what was it, PS2 version? I haven't played the PS3 or 360 version. I'm not gonna bother playing the PS2 version. I know that it has an extra character you can play as, but the frame rate is so shitty. Oh my god, the frame rate is so shitty that I can't deal with that. So I'm just gonna play the 360 version instead. I feel like I should play the 360 version of Spider-Man 3 before doing a rant stream on it. Like I can do a rant stream on the first two, but to get a complete view of the third movie, a balanced view of I said third movie, the third game, like I feel like if I want the most informed view on game, that game, I feel like I'm gonna have to play the 360 version first, which I can do on my own time. I don't think the game will take very long for me to do. Apparently, there's a PC version, but I don't care about that. Although, is it not even on Steam? Let me look. Yeah, I would love to tear apart Spider-Man 3 PS2 because it sucked. Sort of. Like, there were some good things about it, but there are also some bad things about it. Because it honestly, it just kind of, it just sucks. I'm sorry, it just sucks. It sucks. I had some fun with it, but it just sucks as a game. It feels like Spider-Man 2, but like a bootleg version of it. It feels like a bootleg version of Spider-Man 2, a watered down version of it. I'm sorry, but it does. And it doesn't help that Spider-Man 3 is basically split into two games, the HD version and the SD version. And I'm like, I don't know why video game companies keep doing that. They did it with Tomb Raider Underworld and Sonic Unleashed, and they went and did it with Spider-Man 3. And I'm like, stop doing that. Keep the versions consistent. Unless it's a handheld game, then I can understand that. But even so, but still, other than that, keep the games consistent between consoles. It's not hard. If you're worried that a certain console is not going to perform as well as the other consoles regarding the game, then don't make the version in the first place. Just don't do it. But you know they're not. You know, video game developers aren't going to do it. You know they're not going to do it because they want cash. And it's stupid. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, yeah, Spider-Man 2 is very hard to beat. It's better than this first Spider-Man game, and it's certainly better than the two Spider-Man 3 games versions, whatever. Yeah, you and I have differing opinions on the first Spider-Man game, which I wanted to like. I wanted to like it, and some there are some things I like about, it, but there are some things where I'm just like, no. Although to be fair, part of it, like not a lot of it, but just a small part of it's probably a small part of my frustration with the game was just with me, like just either not being careful with the game or just misunderstanding the mechanics. And it was because I simply didn't give myself enough time. I hadn't given myself enough time to go through the tutorial sections, which I really wish I had done, but it's okay. But even with that out of the way, I'm honestly just not a fan of Spider-Man 1. I really am not. But Spider-Man 2, everyone loves that. You were not expecting me to dislike it? Oh, that's okay. Insomniac Spider-Man. Hmm. I wonder if have I wonder if I should go and check that game out. Uh, sorry, Sluggy Man is. What'll be my next stream? Actually, you know what? I'm probably gonna be like, what I'm gonna do is like, I want to cover, I want to cover the Avengers movies, like all eight of them. There are technically only like four, I think, but there are side movies I want to cover as well. I've started watching Captain America, the first Avenger movie because I barely remember it. From the last time I watched it, I barely remember anything except for the ending. I remember the ending, but that's it. So I want to cover the Avengers movies next week, and then after that, I'll return to Arkham Knight and shit. So, and then after Arkham Knight, I'll do Sonic Frontiers, and then Just Dance 2023, and then um, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. And then I think that'll be it for the games I need to cover. I won't, and then I'll take a break from that shit, from this shit. Oh right, and I do plan on doing a rant stream on this first three Spider-Man movie games. So I need to go and play the 360 versus Spider-Man 3 because I can't play the PS3 version. The frame rate is just crap. I don't know how some people manage to do it. I do not know how some people manage to do it. I just don't. Yeah, I guess it didn't help that I played Spider-Man 2 first before that game. So if I had played Spider-Man 2 after that point, I probably wouldn't have been as harsh with the first game. Maybe. It depends. My opinion probably wouldn't have changed very much, but you never know. Well, you never know. Who knows? Maybe I still would have disliked the game anyway if I had played that first before Spider-Man 2. So who knows? But that's okay. In any case, I should get around to playing Spider-Man 3. I do need to finish the 360 version. I probably have to start over because I honestly do not remember. I stopped at one. I remember stopping. I remember doing a test stream on it. I remember where I stopped. I don't feel like starting over. I'm like, although I guess I could. It's really only 3 hours I'd lose. 3 hours of playtime, but well, I don't remember. Well, I'll figure it out. Anyway, so what are all the Marvel movies you'll be covering? I'm just gonna cover. Oh, I need to cover the Venom movies too. I have them, but I have not been watching them, so I need to cover those. So I'm gonna be covering the Avengers movies and the Venom movies. The Venom movies will just be their own thing, whereas they're going to be their own stream. Whereas the Avengers movies will be split into like two streams. So like, and I'll try to cover the movies in chronological order. So I'll cover the first four, and then the next four in like two separate streams, and then I'll do the Venom movies after that. Although probably not in the same week, because that's a lot to watch in one week. So yeah, those are all the Marvel movies I'm going to be watching. The the Avengers movies, the side movies with the in the Avengers universe or whatever, the Avengers series, and then the Venom movies, and then that'll be it. I've already covered all the Spider-Man movies, so we're not going to worry about those. And I do need to cover the four DreamWorks movies I mentioned earlier: the two Trolls movies, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and Captain Underpants. And although I'm going to have to rewatch all of them, except for Mr. Peabody and Sherman, I haven't even watched that one yet. I have it, but I haven't even watched it. No love for Morbius? I guess not. but but yeah, that's really it. I remember when my brother told me he saw Venom 2 with his friends. He hated it. Yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna like the Venom movies. I honestly got them only because of Spider-Man. Like it's like I have Spider-Man, I might as well get Venom as I might as well get Venom. I feel like I'm just covering these only for because I feel obligated to, you know? It's like if I'm gonna cover those, I might as well cover the Venom movies too. If I do Spider-Man, I might as well do Venom. So really, I'm covering the Venom movies only out of curiosity and obligation. That's the only reason. Because to be honest, I don't care about Venom. I really don't care about him as a character. I don't care about his movies. But I got them because, Venom is technically related to Spider-Man in some way. So it's like, okay, I'll get them. I've only seen them once and don't care to ever watch them again anytime soon. That's probably how I'm going to feel. Which is why when I do a rant stream on them, I'll be sure to do it after I watch them, so that way they're fresh in my mind and we'll have to rewatch them because I don't plan on rewatching these movies. Some movies I don't mind rewatching, like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, but the Venom movies, no, I'm not rewatching those. I'm just gonna watch them once and be done with them, and maybe look at any deleted scenes or bonus content, and that's it. That's it. That's just it. Tom Hardy basically carries both movies, and it's really the only thing the movies have going for it. That's really sad. That's fucking sad. I'm sorry, that's just sad. That's just so sad. Morbius, 2022. Oh, apparently people didn't like this film. Oof. Oof, yeah, this film was a commercial failure. Oof. Ouch. That sucks. I'm sorry. That's just awful. Feel bad for that movie. Tom Hardy, the actor that always loves to have his face covered in movies. Oof. Whether it's as Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, Mad Max and Mad Max Fury Road, or as Venom in these movies, he just doesn't like to show off his handsome face to everybody. I wonder why. Venom was one of the many spin-offs that were crap. Yeah, that's the thing about spin-offs. I feel like people should stop trying to make so many spin-offs. Not that spin-offs can't ever work. I've seen successful spin-off series, whether they be movie series or TV show series or just series like on Netflix or whatever. It's just that you have to be careful with them. You have to be careful with them because they can fail, and they often do fail. Camp Coral being one of the most notable examples in the SpongeBob universe. It didn't need to be a thing. It should never have been a thing. Like Crash 4, It's About Time. Anyway, but yeah, that's really all I have to say. I can't think of anything else to talk about. And Sony's also making a spin-off with Craven the Hunter and Madam Web. Oh yeah, I remember you mentioning that like some time back, like several streams back. Why do I still have my 360? I mean Xbox One on. Why do I still have this on? I need to. Oh, because I was watching something. I was watching some of the bonus content, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But yeah, that's really all I have left to say. I literally have nothing else left to say. But I'm glad I got these movies out of the way. I'm looking at the Pinocchio movie, the one with Tom Kenny in it, and I'm just like I'm cringe. I'm still cringing from that because I have it on my shelf. And I'm still cringing from it. But anyway, yeah, that's it. The end. Yay. Tired as hell, but that's okay. Wait, what the fuck? No. Oh my god. Layout. Yes. There you go. The end. Hoggers and Dig Boys. Well, let me type that in. Let me type that in, actually. Hoggers and Dig Boys unite. Okay, now I'm just being stupid and extra. Yeah. Now it's perfect. Oh, that's cringe. Okay. That is cringe. Oh, I need to watch that Pinocchio movie. Yeah, I should. Because there are some good ones. There are some good ones, and the one Maple mentioned in the chat. I should watch that one. I will go and watch that one later. The best anime movie of last year aside from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Oh wow. I didn't know that. Huh. I'll go check that movie out. And there are certain Disney movies I need to watch as well, but anyway, I think that's all I have left to say. Thank you all so much for being here. I can't think of anything else to say, so I'll just end it here. But yeah, again, Cousin Boots: Last Wish, great, amazing. The Super Mario Brothers movie, okay, decent. 9 out of 10 for the first, 7 out of 10 for the second. 9.5 out of 10 for the first, actually, but 7 out of 10 for the second. But yeah, that's all I have left to say. So if no one has anything else left to add, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Timurler15. I'm tired as hell, and I will see you guys next time. So until then, deuces and goodbye.